Chapter 5:14. Someone immediately said excitedly, "There's another paper, Brother Lou. Mathematics, let's look at mathematics." "Let me look at mathematics." Lou UNC continued to flip through the papers. When he found the marks, he fell silent. A moment later. 0 points. She missed the first paper. Everyone was speechless, it was too surreal. She missed the mathematics paper and came in third place. The mathematics paper was worth 150 points. If she chose C for all the multiple choice questions, she could get first place in the level. She copied it. She must have copied it. Many people in the class started to defend Bai Yunj, probably because they were familiar with Bai Yunj's temper. "That's enough. Ling Jiwei, did you borrow her to copy it?" Ling Jiwei looked embarrassed. "You." "That's right. We have a top student in our class. Isn't she bringing glory to our class?" The class teacher and principal didn't say anything, but someone can't stand it. "That's right. Someone goes to class 1 every day. Why didn't she transfer to class 1? Class 7 isn't good enough for you. You." Ling Jiwei looked embarrassed. She slammed the table and stood up. Then, she glared at them with red eyes and ran out. After Ling Jiwei left, many people started to ask about Bai Yunj's situation. "Brother Lou, what's wrong with Master Pei? Aren't these results too sudden?" Lou UNC was silent for a moment. "Do you remember that she was the only one who got the questions right in the last mathematics paper?" Hearing this, everyone fell silent. So she had always been a top student? Then why did she do so well in the monthly paper? Could it be that she wanted the Qin family to donate a building to Hingde? F***ck, now that you mention it, if Master Pei were to take the math exam, wasn't their class the top student in the level? 117. Everyone was in disbelief. They didn't expect class 7 to have a top student in the level. Class 1. Or was it because of discipline? Because when the results came out, although everyone felt that it was bad, there were also those in class 7 who were worse. "What are you doing?" The vice principal walked in and reprimanded them. Class 1 didn't know how to react. This was usually the treatment given to class 7. When had the vice principal ever reprimanded them? "Why aren't you studying? They're not as good as class 7. The vice principal pursed his lips, feeling very complicated. "Principal Wang, the first and second place are from our class. Did they not do well?" Someone was indignant. Even if their results were good and they wanted to suppress them, there was no need to say that. What kind of standard did the 7th class have? How dare they compete with them? The first and second place are from your class. Bai Yunj next door didn't even take the math exam, but she still managed to get third place. Don't you guys have any sense of crisis? As soon as he finished speaking, the expressions of many people in class 1 changed. Not only Qin Youjiao, even Leia, who was in the top 10 of the cohort, looked up at the vice principal instinctively. How was this possible? How is this possible? It's impossible for the test paper to be leaked, and it's impossible for anyone to cheat. I hope you can reflect on why others are progressing so quickly. After saying that, the vice principal slammed the grade report card on the podium and left. Class 1 was a class that he had painstakingly taught, but in the end, they couldn't even compare to class 7. How could he not be angry? Soon, many people in class 1 gathered around to watch. However, when they saw Bai Yunj's results, their expressions changed. Chapter 5:15. Was this a matter of whether she improved fast or not? How is this possible? How can Bai Yunj get full marks for science? Someone could not help questioning. Hearing this, Qin Youjiao clenched her fists instinctively. She had flipped through Qing Zihuai's paper just now and more than 10 marks had been deducted from his science paper. How could Bai Yunj get full marks? Qin Yojiao's eyes were filled with darkness. Impossible. How could Bai Yunj have such standards? It seems like you underestimated your opponent too much, Leia said calmly. Qin Yojiao was silent for a long time before she calmed herself down. She said, "No, I won't lose. As long as she worked hard to get a spot in the International Musicians Association, it would be useless even if Bai Yunj got first." Compared to the value of the International Musicians Association, this was not worth mentioning at all. Taking a deep breath, Qin Yojiao lowered her head and continued to solve the last few questions. After she was done with these questions, she would continue practicing the piano. She would definitely get a spot in the International Musicians Association and become an official member. When that time came, Bai Yunj would only be worthy of looking up to her. In the hospital, Bai Yunj had just changed the water for the vase. "Good, did you not sleep yesterday?" Director Lin saw Bai Yunj holding a laptop early in the morning. "I slept for a while." Bai Yunj placed the breakfast on the folding table that came with the bed. The hospital was in the city center and there was a lot of traffic outside the window. It was very noisy. Bai Yunj could not sleep in this environment, so she decided to improve the project overnight. Director Lin's heart ached for Bai Yunj. Bai Yunj probably came late last night, so Director Lin did not know that Bai Yunj was guarding her here. It was only when she woke up early in the morning that she found Bai Yunj sitting by the window. Go home and sleep for a while first. Apply for leave from school. How can you not sleep for the entire night? Okay, I'll leave after you finish your porridge. Hearing Bai Yunj say this, Director Lin had no choice but to eat the porridge first. After eating the porridge, Director Lin looked at Bai Yunj, her meaning obvious. Bai Yunj stood up and laughed leisurely. "Okay, I'll go back first. Old people nowadays are quite cruel." Director Lin. "Bring the umbrella over there, the sun is too strong." Bai Yunj hummed in response and opened the door with a small flower umbrella and notebook in her arms. She didn't expect to see the man waiting at the door in the corridor. His eyebrows were handsome and noble, and his pale-colored pupils were abstinent. He was leaning lazily against the wall, and no one knew when he had arrived. After Bai Yunj opened the door, Washidu turned around and their eyes met. He stuffed the silver lighter in his hand into his pocket. "Yun is out. When did you get here?" 2 hours ago. Washidu's thin red lips curled up. "But I didn't bring a gift, so I can't go in. Grandma won't mind either." Bai Yunj closed the door quietly. "She likes you very much." "Really?" Washidu's thin lips curled up happily. He walked closer to Bai Yunj and took the notebook from her hand very naturally. Wait for me to say a few bad things, then she won't like you so much." Bai Yunj said lazily with a smile. The man laughed casually. I like our union's ingrate too." Bai Yunj looked at him. "Brother, are you here to take me to school?" "I'm bringing you home." Chapter 5:16. You're not going to school? Bai Yunj was quite surprised. She thought that even if she had a high fever, Washidu would still throw her to school. "Auntie Meow has prepared some food for you. You can sleep after eating. Auntie Meow will come to see Director Lin later." Hearing that Washidu's arrangement was very reasonable, Bai Yunj stopped in her tracks and subconsciously moved her eyebrows. "Where are we going?" The corners of Washidu's lips curled up lazily and lightly. He pinched the back of her neck affectionately. "Back to brother's house." Bai Yunj heard him say again, "The old residence is far from here. It's closer to my place." "Okay." Bai Yunj did not hesitate and did not sense anything wrong. Back at the Huo family home. "Miss, you're finally back." Auntie Meow welcomed Bai Yunj with a smile the moment she saw her. Bai Yunj felt that something was not right. Auntie Meow, you knew that I was back. Yes, didn't Sir accompany you back to stay for a few days? Auntie Meow asked with a smile. This statement almost made Bai Yunj think that she was returning home with Washidu. Bai Yunj glanced at Washidu but did not say anything. The man was as calm and composed as ever, as if nothing had happened. Let's eat first, Washidu said. Okay. Auntie Meow had already figured out Bai Yunj's taste long ago. As a result, when Bai Yunj came back and ate Auntie Meow's cooking, she actually felt an inexplicable attachment. However, after eating and going upstairs, Bai Yunj realized that something was wrong. Brother, my bedroom is over there. Bai Yunj stood at the door and did not go in. When Washidu heard this, he chuckled nonchalantly and looked at her casually. He chuckled softly. If you don't sleep at my place, can Yun sleep? Bai Yunj, or does Yun mind? Washidu suddenly leaned closer. His laughter was low and hoarse, as if he was deliberately teasing her eardrums. His eyes were so dark that it was hard to tell. Bai Yunj subconsciously took a step back. No. Seeing the smile in Washidu's eyes, it was obvious that he was teasing her. Bai Yunj smiled. I'll leave after I wake up. This child is quite heartless. Washidu's sexy Adam's apple bobbed as he chuckled softly. Seeing that Bai Yunj's eyes were red, Washidu stopped teasing her. He watched her walk to the bed before gently closing the door. At the door, Tsing-su said softly, Master Du, do you want to rest for a while? This morning, you've been looking for Miss for a long time. Let's go to the company first. Washidu's slender and bony hand loosened his tie impatiently. He was typing a text message to inform old Master Qin that he was safe. Unexpectedly, a notification popped up in his personal account. Washidu clicked on it and saw that Qin Yu had pulled him into the group chat. Bai Yunj parents, there were already 4 members inside, and he was the 5th. Soon, a group member sent a message. Teacher 1, congratulations, student Bai Yunj. You are 3rd in the level for the monthly exam and scored full marks in science. Rose, Teacher 1, picture. The picture was the report card that Teacher 1 had taken. And this content caused an uproar in the group. Qin Lang. My goober. Qin Yu, this is my sister. Dumbfounded. JPG, Qin Luyan, not bad. After a few minutes of silence, the group chat was flooded again. The 3 members of the Qin family were giving out red packets in the group chat as if money was not money. However, Teacher Wen did not dare to accept any of them, afraid that others would say that he had accepted bribes. Chapter 5:17. Washidu did not say anything either. He only touched it lightly with his slender fingers and saved the report card. A few minutes later, everyone saw Master Du, who had never posted on his WeChat moments, suddenly update his status. Du, the little kid is alright. Picture, not long after, the downstairs was filled with likes from his WeChat moments. Yu Hanran, damn, this ancestor scored full marks in science. She missed an exam and got 3rd place. I thought our Master Pei was a bad student. Yu Manran, come out and get scolded. Yu Manran replied to Yu Hanran, Yu Manran, boo-hoo, Master Pei is amazing. Qin Yu, brother. What are you doing? Qin Yu, who was backstage, saw Washidu's post and felt that Washidu was too immersed. This was Washidu's first time posting on WeChat moments. It was even rarer than his brother posting on WeChat moments. Qin Yu, who did not get a reply, put his phone back into his pocket. However, he wanted to find someone to share his intense joy with. After the recording, the female host habitually skipped the questions that Qin Yu disdained to answer. However, Qin Yu suddenly asked, why didn't you ask your usual questions? Hearing this, the fans present were extremely excited. Brother, you had actually taken the initiative to accept a personal interview. Okay, then I'll start asking. The female host took a deep breath and revealed a professional smile. Here, the public is also very curious about your personal life, Best Actor Chin. Let me ask Best Actor Chin for everyone first. What kind of girls do you usually admire? The good-looking ones who can score full marks in science. Chin Yu's arrogant eyes were handsome, and when he smiled, a large group of women were attracted to him. However, these words were like a bucket of ice water that woke up all the fans. The fans were speechless. Do you know what you're talking about? This made the fans even sadder than Chin Yu saying that he was going to become a monk. The female host's expression stiffened slightly and she immediately changed the topic to his career. Then let's move on to the next question. What do you think is the reason for your career's success? My greatest success might not be my career, but having an outstanding sister in all aspects. Chin Yu leaned against the sofa lazily, smiling amiably. The manager below the stage, all right, another crazy one. A male artist who was obsessed with his sister was as dangerous as a public figure who drank fake alcohol for an interview. Hence, that day, the topic of the opposite sex that Chin Yu admired the most was trending. On the other hand, Chin Yu's fans started to doubt their lives as they started to browse through the science questions. Until the afternoon. Bei Yunj received a call from Marcus. Yunj, something happened to your brother's company. Hearing Marcus' anxious voice, Bei Yunj unconsciously rubbed her eyebrows. What? Your brother called me and said that the Chin group is in some trouble. 2 days ago, the security system was only attacked by hackers. The funds have been transferred today. Marcus was so anxious that his speech speed became faster. Transfer of funds. Bei Yunj was silent for a moment before she replied, okay, I got it. Oh right, Marcus, what was the name you gave me last time? He was afraid that Bei Yunj's career in the scientific research field would be affected because of the Chin Corporation. Marcus terminated the contract with the outside world and let Bei Yunj sign a contract with the Chin Group with a new identity. P.S. Be good and remember the monthly votes. Chapter 518. Including the incident with the criminal gang last time, Marcus had also removed the name. Marcus was speechless. He knew that Bei Yunj did not care much about her matters, but he did not expect her to be so careless. Max. Marcus said helplessly, do you want to take a look? I'll go to the Chin family to take a look first. Bei Yunj changed her clothes and went out. She called Chin Luyan. A few minutes later. Chin Luyan's voice was filled with surprise and joy. What's wrong? Are you looking for me? Bei Yunj narrowed her pretty eyes and glanced at the traffic around her calmly. Her tone was calm. Can I come to the Chin family? Sure, I'll get someone to pick you up. Chin Luyan was a little surprised. No need. Just send me your location. After hanging up the call, the people from the technical department furrowed their eyebrows. President Chin, did something happen? Nothing. My sister is coming to the company. Hearing Chin Luyan's words, no one dared to speak. However, their impression of Bei Yunj could not help but drop. It was fine if a rich young lady did not know how to solve the company's problems. At such a critical moment, she still came to the company to play. Someone really thinks that the company isn't troublesome enough, an employee from the technical department could not help but mock. Mind your own business and don't let me hear any gossip. Otherwise, leave the Chin family as soon as possible. Chin Luyan's tone was cold. Everyone knew that President Chin seemed to dote on the new elder young miss a lot, but they did not expect it to be to this extent. The employees who were reprimanded also blushed. They were unwilling to accept it and did not say anything. Qi-Lin, go and pick her up. Gu will be coming over later. Qi-Lin was the closest person to Qin Luyan and would not go against his wishes. Yes. About half an hour later. Everyone saw the rumored real young lady of the Qin family. Her appearance was even more stunning than Qin Youjiao's back then. She was excessively beautiful. Her eyes were wild and bright, but there was indifference in them. Miss, President Qin is still dealing with some matters. He asked me to take you to his office to rest, Qi-Lin said gently. Has Qin Luyan not been home for a few days? Bai Yunj suddenly asked. She had not seen Qin Luyan for a few days, but she did not know that something had happened to the company. There was no news at home either. It's been 3 or 4 days. Miss, please. Qi-Lin smiled, but he was not close to Bai Yunj. I want to see him now. Bai Yunj said lightly. When Qi-Lin heard this, he unconsciously frowned. He thought that Bai Yunj was a smart person and knew that she should not disturb Qin Luyan at this time. However, he did not expect her to have the temper of a spoiled young lady. Miss, you'll be a burden to President Qin if you go, Qi-Lin said gently. He didn't hide the reason why he didn't want to bring Bai Yunj along. Bai Yunj looked up at him with a faint smile. I came here because I wanted to see him. In fact, Bai Yunj could tell that Qi-Lin did not like her. Usually, everyone in the old mansion called her elder young miss, but Qi-Lin did not treat her as his young Mississippi. If you don't take me there, I'll get him to come down. With that said, Bai Yunj was about to call Qin Luyan. I'll take you there. Qi-Lin smiled, but the veins on the back of his hand were bulging. It was his first time being angered by such an unreasonable rich young lady. Haven't you found the loophole? Chapter 5:19. Qin Luyan's voice was emotionless as he looked at the technicians calmly trying to solve the problem. Bai Yunj entered and saw the bouquet of black roses on the table. Boss Qin, Miss is here. Qi-Lin reminded him. Hearing this, Qin Luyan turned around. He did not expect Bai Yunj to come here. Bai Yunj scanned her surroundings, casually picked up the black roses, threw them into the rubbish bin beside her, and sat at the side. Can I play here for a while? Everyone's eyelids twitched when they saw that Bai Yunj threw the black roses away without even asking Qin Luyan. However, what they did not expect was that Qin Luyan did not care about Bai Yunj's actions at all. His low voice was even gentle. Sure. The staff of the technical department could not help but frown. What was going on with this spoiled lady who did not know anything staying with them? However, at this moment, Bai Yunj did not care about the people around her. She just turned on her laptop and lazily played maps of the gods. The technical department was talking. There must be more than one hacker who attacked us this time. I suspect that it was premeditated. Then should we find someone to help us solve it? Didn't Boss Qin sign a max? Hearing this, the technician who was repairing the loophole sneered. My master is an official member of the Cherished. He has never heard of the name Max. The Cherished were a hacker organization in our nation. It was currently the most powerful hacker organization in the world. But this is someone introduced by Marcus. He can't be bad. Someone retorted softly. He won't be bad, but he won't be much better either. That person's tone was arrogant. Then can you get your master to help? Qi-Lin asked. My master's price for taking on an order is not cheap. And he won't take on orders easily. Qin Luyan said calmly, contact him. He can name the price. With that said, Qin Luyan looked at Bai Yunj. Seeing that she was playing maps of the gods, he did not disturb her. Which book website? After about 10 minutes. The arrogant technician became excited. My master has accepted the order. He said he's willing to help us. He added, I'll send him the information now. Hearing this, everyone heaved a sigh of relief. Fortunately, there was still hope. However, after waiting for 20 minutes, Qi-Lin received another call. His expression changed. President Qin, our company's website has also been attacked. It's completely paralyzed. As soon as he finished speaking, the technician, who was originally arrogant, was now inexplicably nervous. He immediately contacted his master. And at this moment, everyone glanced over and saw that Bai Yunj was playing the game. Their expressions immediately turned ugly. Miss Qin is still in a good mood at this time, the arrogant technician couldn't help but say gloomily. Who knew? Bai Yunj replied lazily, my surname is Pei. Xiangyang. Qi-Lin frowned and immediately warned him. Qin Luyan was still here, and he dared to insult Bai Yunj like this. As expected. At this moment, Qin Luyan glanced at Zhang Yang coldly. If not for Qi-Lin's reprimand just now, Zhang Yang would have been in trouble. This time, it wasn't done by one person, another technician said. Obviously, they had been besieged by the hacker organization. Suddenly, Bai Yunj said slowly, have you guys eaten? Why don't you go have a meal? It's useless to sit here. Chapter 520. Everyone was speechless. Zhang Yang could not help but sneer. Are you mocking us? Bai Yunj raised her eyebrows. No one noticed that her fingers were typing a command. They only heard her say slowly, please continue. As soon as she finished speaking, Zhang Yang wanted to continue but was suddenly interrupted by Qin Luyan. Zhang Yang, if you still want to stay in the company, you have to abide by your duty. Instantly, Zhang Yang's expression turned ugly, but he could only remain silent. At this moment, the other technicians also realized that something was wrong. This, our computer, why can't we move it? F*CK, it can't be. The faces of the technicians turned ashen. Then, Zhang Yang quickly made a call to his master, but the answer he got made his face turn pale. Boss Qin, my master said that this was done by a hacker organization, but he can't deal with so many hacker attacks. As for our computer, he doesn't know what's going on either. Can your master's organization help? No. My master is in the organization and his words carry little weight, Zhang Yang said softly. When everyone heard this, they became even more nervous and afraid. So, the Qin Corporation was finished this time. You guys go downstairs and have a meal first. Qin Luyan glanced at the two computers that could not be used and did not reprimand them. It was as if he had already known this outcome. When Zhang Yang and the rest heard this, they glanced at Bai Yunj with ugly expressions and felt inexplicably aggrieved. 12th Literature Network, but now that the computer could not be used, they would really be sitting there in a daze. After Zhang Yang and the rest left, Qin Luyan looked at Bai Yunj. What do you want to eat? I find them noisy. Bai Yunj did not hide it. Hearing this, Qin Luyan's eyes darkened and he said, you don't have to worry about the Qin Corporation. No matter what happens to the Qin Corporation, I will guarantee that you will have no worries for the rest of your life. After he was reborn, Qin Luyan had already transferred all his private assets to Bai Yunj's name. As soon as he finished speaking, Qin Luyan's cell phone rang. He looked at the overseas number and his gaze turned cold with a hint of hostility. After he hung up, the phone kept ringing. Go out and pick him up. After Bai Yunj finished speaking, Qin Luyan thought that he had disturbed Bai Yunj, so he took his phone and went out. At this time, Bai Yunj closed the Maps of the Gods interface. While the entire corporation was in a state of anxiety, the hacker group that was attacking the Qin Corporation on the other side looked at their progress. They were clearly going to cause the collapse of the Qin Corporation soon. However, in the first 10 minutes, they could not continue to attack the Qin family. It was as if it was being locked by something, making people feel that something was wrong. This made them inexplicably flustered. They had a bad premonition. However, if the people from the Qin Corporation's technical department had seen the situation on the screen, they would have realized that their situation was exactly the same as theirs. Bei Yunjun wrapped a soft candy and slowly bit the tip of her tongue. Her gaze swept across the loopholes that the technical department had not solved, but she was not in a hurry. She adjusted the voice changer and her fingertips jumped on the keyboard as she started to lock onto the tracking device. At this moment, she clearly heard the conversation between that woman and Qin Luyan. "President Qin, how have you been? Is your company doing well?" Chapter 521. If you had promised me back then, wouldn't it be a good situation for us to win both Country A and Country R's markets? Elena smiled and said, "I heard that you've terminated your contract and changed to someone else to protect the company's security system. I have to say, President Qin, you're really wary of me. Is Miss Elena so short of men?" Qin Luyan took off his gold-rimmed glasses. The cold glint in his eyes was distant, and his eyes were refined and handsome as he asked casually. "Just as expected." As soon as Qin Luyan finished speaking, Elena suddenly fell silent. "Qin Luyan, am I not good enough? In this world, you can't find anyone who loves you more than me." Elena's tone was resentful. Be it in terms of looks or family background, she was clearly the most suitable candidate to be Qin Luyan's wife. However, when the man on the other end of the phone heard this, he only sneered lightly, but the mockery was very obvious. There was a cold glint in his eyes. Qin Luyan did not expect this woman to have the cheek to ask for love. In this world, the person he wanted to end the most was this woman. However, Qin Luyan's attitude made Elena furious. "Qin Luyan, I know your ability. You can make the Qin Corporation grow faster in the future. But now, as long as I want to, the Qin Corporation will go bankrupt. When that time comes, you'll be nothing but a penniless cripple. As for your precious sister, I'll think of ways to make her suffer. Elena, don't court death." The man's voice was filled with endless coldness. "I really didn't expect that the first time I've seen you so angry is for your sister." Elena laughed, her voice filled with bewitchment. "In that case, Lu Yan, as long as you say that you love me, I'll let this crisis end quickly. How about that? It's also for your sister." These words made the veins on the back of the man's hand pop up. She continued to smile. "The hacker you hired can't fight against a hacker organization." Suddenly, the girl who was eavesdropping on the conversation slowly pressed a keyboard. She leaned closer to the speaker and asked with a lazy smile, "Is that what you think?" After this voice was recorded by the computer, Elena and Qin Luyan heard another androgynous voice. Immediately, Elena froze, and Qin Luyan looked surprised. This person was the person he had hired. "Who are you?" Elena asked immediately, feeling uneasy for some reason. "That hacker hired by the Qin family." Bei Yunja's eyes curved into crescents as she said lazily, "This is my first time accepting an order. If there's anything I'm sorry about, please forgive me." These words inexplicably made Elena fall into an unknown fear. "Do you know who the hackers around me are?" "Don't worry, we'll know soon enough." Bei Yunj smirked and hung up the call. Not long after, she walked over to the computer that Zhang Yang had just used and started working. The data and codes in front of him were also constantly changing. This made the hackers who were originally anxious to unlock the computer suddenly see the computer being automatically unlocked. "What's going on? What's going on?" The internal hackers were having a conversation. They had never encountered such a problem before. They were inexplicably locked and inexplicably unlocked. It was as if they were being controlled by someone. Could it be someone from the Qin group? Chapter 522. Impossible, how could the Qin group know any hackers? Someone immediately rejected it. Although their hibernating Lion 173 couldn't compare to a top hacker organization like the Chaos, it was still a top-notch hacker organization that made people tremble in fear. Who dared to go against their hibernating Lion 173? I heard that the new hacker they hired was connected by Country R's Institute of Computational Technology. Could it really be? Is a person whose name I've never heard of worthy of you making a fuss? That person sneered. Seeing that the screen had been unsealed, he continued to operate in disbelief. A dark look flashed across his eyes. Looking at the confidential documents of the Qin group that were about to be transferred out, his expression became even more excited. I've transferred the documents. At this moment, the bespectacled boy seemed to be elated, his eyes filled with contempt and disdain. Just the Qin group wanted to stop him. The others could not help but be surprised. Hans, how did you do it? Hans sneered arrogantly, isn't it just the Qin group? It didn't take much effort. As long as this document is sent out, the entire Qin group will suffer the most serious commercial impact. At this moment, many people heaved a sigh of relief. Fortunately, Hans was here. Otherwise, their hibernating Lion 173 would have become a joke. I thought it was someone from the Qin group who invited an incredible god. Now it seems that we were alarmed for nothing. A few people mocked the Qin group, their eyes full of arrogance. Brothers, let's work harder. If the Qin group is destroyed by us, this will be another chance for us to become famous. At this point, everyone's blood boiled as they continued to attack the Qin group. Who knew? At the same time, Hans was about to send the document out when the computer started to lose control. His expression changed. What's going on? Hans's sudden exclamation made everyone who was still boiling with excitement stop what they were doing. No. What's wrong, Hans? Hans gritted his teeth. He didn't believe that he couldn't handle this matter. But who knew? Just as he was about to unlock the control, the screen suddenly turned black. A familiar scene suddenly appeared on the computer. 2 pairs of shoes, a bed, and 2 figures rolling on the bed. No, it's not like that, Hans's expression changed. His fingers kept typing on the keyboard, but the image became clearer and clearer. His voice grew louder and louder. Even the members of the organization he was talking to could hear him. What is this? The others were also shocked by the figure that appeared on their screens. Those who didn't know better would have thought that he had turned on some pornographic film. F***ck, why isn't it stopping? There were some people who didn't mind watching this, but there were also some who were horrified. He wanted to turn off this creepy movie as soon as possible. But who knew, no matter what they did, the screen seemed to be locked. They could only sit and watch the movie that confused them. Only Hans's face had turned pale. Not many people knew about his sexual orientation. He was also afraid that this matter would be exposed. But the situation now was very clear. That person did it on purpose. Not bad. In the organization, one of the middle-aged men who had long since admitted his sexual orientation had a particularly oily smile as he stared at Hans's white butt. Chapter 523. It can't be, how can there be such a good thing? Who is inviting us to watch the movie for free? A few members of the organization originally wanted to mock the person who did this, but they didn't expect Hans's face to turn pale bit by bit. Especially among the members, they kept commenting. This B***TCH is really coquettish. TSK, I wonder what her name is. Even if I have to spend money, I'm willing to have sex with her. These dirty words made Hans's face turn red and green. After watching for about 10 minutes, the screen was cut off. Why are you not showing us after watching half of it? That's right, that's right. The members of the organization were still jeering. Unexpectedly, an unfamiliar voice slowly sounded through their earphones. Mr. Hans, have you heard the members' requests? As soon as he finished speaking, these members looked as if they had seen a ghost. Their internal conversation had been deciphered by someone. Who exactly are you? Hans's expression was ugly as he clenched his fists weakly. I accepted the Qin group's order. Hearing this, someone immediately said, It's Max. However, he had never even heard of this person before. How could he have such an ability? Max, do you want to go against our hibernating lion 173? Hans's tone was cold, obviously threatening. Bai Yunj slowly repaired the Qin group system and said in a casual tone, It might not be impossible. As he spoke, it was full of arrogance and indifference. You. Hans's expression was ugly. Do you really think that I can't deal with you? As soon as he finished speaking, 187 the members of the group saw a sentence on the screen. Thank you, Mr. Hans, for dedicating yourself to art. So, the movie just now was actually Hans. Most of them in their organization had never seen each other, so they didn't recognize him. But now that they saw those words, they could roughly guess which one was Hans from the voice. The one who was pressed down. No one said anything. But Hans also saw those words and couldn't help but slam his earphones on the table. He had never hated someone so much in his life. Max. He remembered it. Hans gritted his teeth with hatred. His eyes revealed a fierce look as he began to transfer the Qin group's assets again. However, at this moment, Bai Yunj had already fixed the loophole in the system and recovered the funds that had been transferred. But in fact, not much of the funds had been transferred in the beginning. They wanted to use this to make the people of the Qin think that their target was those funds. Their true goal was the confidential documents of the Qin family. Once the confidential documents were leaked, it would be extremely beneficial to the Qin's competitors. The Qin would also be attacked from both front and rear. Hans's movements were very fast, and the way he attacked the system was also very tricky. However, he didn't expect that after finding 7 or 8 blind spots, he would be ejected in the end. But clearly, half an hour ago, these broken systems were like tofu to him, and he could easily crush them. But what's going on? Only 10 minutes had passed. How is this possible? Hans's face was livid. He gritted his teeth and said, Max, are you deliberately going against me? Don't think that you're so great. Do you know that this circle is actually a battlefield? In this circle, there was bound to be someone who could deal with her. Who knew? Bai Yunj continued to operate. In the next moment, everyone's screen suddenly turned black. She suddenly curled her lips, and her voice was lazy and unruly. Battlefield. Isn't this my battlefield? Chapter 524. When everyone regained their senses, they saw that their computers had been destroyed. Their expressions changed. F***ck, what's going on? My F***king custom-made computer crashed just like that. Me too. What's going on? The shocked voices of his companions kept coming from Hans's earpiece. This time, he realized that he had really provoked someone he shouldn't have. Max, you really don't leave any leeway for others. Hans was extremely angry as he gritted his teeth. He did not expect that this person would use such a move to prevent the Qin family's confidential documents from being leaked. He did not consider that they still had other important information that was saved in the computer. Now, with Max's actions, all of it had disappeared with the Qin family's documents. That's right, so don't look for trouble with me. Bai Yunj curled her lips. Her tone was casual and playful, but she did not allow anyone to object. If you don't want to end your hacking career, then get lost as soon as possible. When Qin Luyan returned, he saw that Bai Yunj had just stood up. Are you ready to leave? Yes. Bai Yunj hummed in response. I'll send you off. Even though the Qin family was in such a situation, Qin Luyan was still more concerned about Bai Yunj's matter. No need, it's not far. With that said, Bai Yunj went downstairs and left. At this moment, those people had just returned from dinner and saw Bai Yunj leaving with a laptop. She's finally gone. Zhang Yang could not help but laugh mockingly. Alright, let's hurry up and settle our own jobs. After that person finished speaking, he was about to continue fixing the bugs. However, when he looked up, he was stunned. What's going on? Did the gods appear? What nonsense are you talking about? Someone looked at the boy in confusion. No. I'm not talking nonsense. The bugs are gone automatically. That person could not help but widen his eyes. This is too strange. This is one of the top 10 supernatural events. There are so many bugs. How could they be gone after we left for half an hour? As soon as he finished speaking, everyone could not help but lean over to take a look. Even Qin Luyan frowned and looked at the screen. Don't you think that not only are the bugs gone, but the security system has also changed? Yeah, it seems like someone has redesigned the security system. What's going on? The entire technical department of the Qin Corporation felt that this was the work of their ancestors. Otherwise, how could such a strange thing happen? The bugs were fixed, the funds were returned, and the security system was redesigned for no reason. It was too shocking. At this moment, only Qin Luyan had a suspicion in his heart. Just now, only Gu had been in the technology room. On the way back, Bai Yunj subconsciously hailed a cab and prepared to go home. But half a minute later, Bai Yunj realized that something was wrong. She had just taken a taxi and subconsciously returned to Washidu's place. Bai Yunj, uncle, changed the route. Bai Yunj gave him the address of the Qin family's old house. However, the driver seemed to be someone who had seen a lot of the world. Young lady, you're thinking about your boyfriend. Why make things difficult for yourself? How many marriages and relationships have been tormented like this? Bai Yunj. That's not my boyfriend. When the driver heard this, he nodded with an expression that said, if you say so, then so be it. Bai Yunj thought for a moment. I just moved. Chapter 525. Then. As soon as he finished speaking, the phone in Bai Yunj's pocket rang. Look, is your boyfriend looking for you? The driver snorted. Bai Yunj glanced at him and took out her phone to take a look. It was Washidu. Bai Yunj's expression did not look too good, but she did not want to give the driver a chance to continue talking to her, so she quickly answered the call. What's wrong? The man's low and magnetic voice entered her ears through the current on the phone. Yun, where are you? I just left the Qin group and am about to go back, Bai Yunj said unhurriedly. The man could tell that she was not referring to him when she said she was going back. His low and deep voice carried a hoarse smile as he brazenly teased her ear. Then can you do me a favor? Bai Yunj, what favor? Buy something back. After Bai Yunj quickly memorized what Washidu wanted, she realized that something was wrong. If she helped him buy something, wouldn't she have to go back to the Hua family? At this moment, the driver did not know what was going on, but he had already changed the direction of the car. He even looked at Bai Yunj with a subtle gaze. It was a little comforting and encouraging. Bai Yunj, did your boyfriend ask you to bring something back? Bai Yunj could not be bothered to explain and replied casually. When they saw the nearest supermarket by the roadside, Bae-yeon was about to get out of the car when she heard the driver instruct her again. It's okay for a little girl to be a little willful, but you must know how to coax people. Okay, Bae-yeon replied lazily. You are young and have plenty of time, but there are some things that you should plan early. The driver seemed to often share his experience with others. In the future, have you thought about how many children you want? The uncle's voice was a little loud. As a result, Lu Yunci and Chu Zhixing, who were teaming up with Bae-yeon, heard the commotion on Bae-yeon's side. Their fingers trembled and they fell into a strange silence. But in the next moment, they then heard Bae-yeon speak slowly and without hesitation. Let's start with 4 or 5 of them. 3 of them will work for me, 1 will be given to him to inherit the company, and the worst one will be sent abroad. Lu Yunci and Chu Zhixing. The middle-aged driver, did she think she was in a claw machine and could randomly grab a few dolls? When he got out of the car, the driver could not help but remind her, young lady, it's better to set a small goal first. Until the end of the team battle, Lu Yunci and Chu Zhixing were very proud. What strange things did they hear just now? Bae-yeon returned to the living room with a bag of snacks. As expected, the man was wearing a white shirt and black trousers, sitting on the sofa. Brother, did you want this? Bae-yeon asked with a half-smile. As soon as he finished speaking, Bae-yeon suddenly heard a childish voice and was pleasantly surprised. Sister, you're back. Bae-yeon lowered her head and saw a little guy running towards her. He was blinking his big eyes and looked extremely adorable. It was Mo. Beside him was an Alaskan who was rolling around. Mo, why are you here? Bae-yeon put the snacks aside, picked up Mo, and asked. Mo unceremoniously hugged Bae-yeon's neck and kissed Bae-yeon's cheek. She did not notice the gaze from somewhere. Mo missed sister. Didn't sister miss Mo? Chapter 526. Yes. Bae-yeon had never liked children, but she did like children like Mo. Then can Mo sleep with sister? Mo crossed her fingers and placed them under her chin. She had a cute pleading look on her face. Mo added, I promise I won't cause trouble for sister. At this moment, the man on the sofa glanced at Mo. His pale and abstinent eyes were a little cold. When he asked the old madam to borrow this child, the child immediately agreed when he heard that he could see Bae-yeon if he stayed with him. Along the way, he also promised that he would coax Bae-yeon to stay and not stick to Bae-yeon. However, the moment Bae-yeon returned, his true nature was exposed. Mo, the man's faint and magnetic voice sounded. The moment he saw Mo lying pitifully on Bae-yeon's shoulder, Washido realized that he had found trouble for himself. You can sleep with sister. Bae-yeon put Mo down and took the bag of snacks that she had just bought. She held Mo's hand and went upstairs. She did not even look at him. Washido was speechless. The next day, Bae-yeon was the first to finish breakfast and go to school. Only the 2 of them were left sitting at the dining table. The man wiped the corners of his mouth and asked casually, Are you happy? Sister likes me. Why can't she sleep with me? Mo snorted and seriously held his small spoon to eat his porridge. Also, sister smells so good. As soon as he finished speaking, Tsing-su, who was waiting for Washido, suddenly understood why the aura of this pair of brothers was becoming more and more strange. It was because little young master had slept with Miss Pei. Wei-chang. Tsing-su was a little surprised. After all, with little young master's personality, he did not like people who were not close to him touching him. Not to mention sleeping with someone else. Tsing-su, since she has returned in the past 2 days, after picking Mo up from school, send him to his place to continue his lessons, Washidu said slowly. She was one of the top perfumers in the country. Because of her good looks, she became popular on the internet 2 years ago. But Master Du sent the little master to Sushi's class just because the little master said that it smelled good. I don't want that. Mo couldn't believe it and immediately refused. Master Du, young master is still young, I don't think he understands. Su had heard from the people in the old residence that Washidu had been gifted since he was young. He learned everything properly and understood everything with just a hint. However, the young master did not have this talent. Other than mathematics, it was very difficult for him to learn anything else. Washidu said nonchalantly, you have to learn if you don't know. Don't send him back before 8. Su, at this moment, Mo was stunned. He was still young and did not understand what a tool man meant. Bei Yunj was relieved to see Washidu's message telling her that Director Lin had been brought to the Qin family's old residence. Subsequently, he had just returned to Hengda. Bei Yunj was called to the office by Teacher Wen. What's wrong, Teacher Wen? Hearing Bei Yunj's voice, Teacher Wen took a deep breath. Your monthly exam. What's going on? Didn't you want me to do better? Bei Yunj glanced at him. Teacher Wen, that was the situation, but this was better. Wasn't it a little beyond his imagination? Chapter 527. Seeing Teacher Wen's excited expression, Bei Yunj felt a sense of déjà vu. She also had an inexplicable sense of familiarity and a bad feeling. In the afternoon, Bei Yunj looked at the information Teacher Wen had just given her and fell silent. Master Pei, are you and Brother Chu going? Lu Yuanxi glanced at Bei Yunj and Chu Zhixing's information and couldn't help but look resentful. This was the information of Yunqing University's special class. This special class had only been held in the past 3 years. The person who got first place could have their scores reduced by 60 points, and the second and third places could have their scores reduced by 40 and 20 points. However, this kind of thing was meaningless to Bei Yunj. Only old Wen can think of this. Bei Yunj threw the things on the table without any interest. But Master Pei, if you go to the special class, you can skip class openly in the future, Chu Zhixing said straightforwardly. When Bei Yunj heard this, she raised her eyebrows and looked at this special class seriously. The corners of her lips curled up unconsciously. However, isn't this special class an elimination system? Do we have to compete? Lu Yuanxi asked. Chu Zhixing was silent for a moment. Do you think she can be eliminated? Lu Yuanxi, sorry to disturb him. He was thinking too much. Suddenly, Chu Zhixing remembered and said, oh right, Master Pei, I've sent you the things I prepared for you on my birthday party. Bei Yunj looked at the information and responded nonchalantly. She did not notice anything wrong at all. At this moment, Bei Yunj received a few messages. Professor Do, Student Pei, have you solved the questions? It's been half a month. Professor Do, look, mathematics still needs to be studied. Professor Do, come to our department. I promise you won't waste your talent. Bei Yunj's eyelids twitched when she saw this message. Were all the professors of Yun University so free? Si Qingyan was the same. He had nothing to do in the institute every day. But after returning home, Lingzhou Literature Network, however, Bei Yunj took out the large stack of A4 drafts and looked at them thoughtfully. She had to admit that the questions Professor Do gave her were indeed different from the ones she had solved before. However, many things in the computer field were complementary to mathematics. Therefore, it was easy for Bei Yunj to solve problems using 2 different ways of thinking. Out of the 7 questions, Bei Yunj had only solved 1. There was still 1 more question that needed to be solved. The next moment, Bei Yunj took out another stack of A4 papers and continued to solve the problem. More than an hour later, Bei Yunj heard movement outside the door. She walked over and opened the bedroom door. "Aunt Meow, what's wrong?" Bei Yunj asked. Auntie Meow smiled and said, "Miss Pei, I think a parcel has arrived. Would you like to take a look downstairs?" "All right." Bei Yunj nodded. After closing the door, she followed Auntie Meow downstairs. "Where's my brother?" Bei Yunj asked when she saw that there was no one downstairs. Sir is working in the study. There seems to be a video conference." Bei Yunj nodded when she heard this. Then, her gaze landed on the delivery box on the table. After opening it, Bei Yunj realized that it was a red lace tutu dress with a cat ear headband lying beside it. She really wanted to know if this was Chu Zhixing's aesthetic or Lu Yuanxi's. Bei Yunj suppressed her temper and opened the group chat between the three of them. Bei Yunj, smile, a few seconds later. Lu Yuanxi. Chapter 528. Bei Yunj, picture, Bei Yunj, did you choose this? Lu Yuanxi and Chu Zhixing, who were fighting in the internet cafe, fell silent when they saw the photo. Wasn't this dress pretty? Although they didn't deny it, they wanted to see Master Pei's feminine look. Bei Yunj, I'll keep it well and bring it for you to wear. When they saw this message, Lu Yuanxi and Chu Zhixing's scalp started to go numb. They hurriedly picked up their phones and asked someone to help them find normal clothes. At this moment, before Bei Yunj could throw the thing away, she saw a slender hand pick up the red lace tutu dress that was casually rolled up. Bei Yunj looked at Huashidu. Did Yunyun buy new clothes? Huashidu curled his lips. He had never seen Bei Yunj dressed like this. I was going to throw it away. Brother, you... Before Bei Yunj could finish speaking, she was interrupted. Aunt Meow. The man suddenly spoke. Aunt Meow quickly walked over. Mr. Hua, do you need anything? Put this dress away. Huashidu glanced at the cat ears on the table from the corner of his eye. The corners of his thin red lips curled into a lazy and cynical smile. He bent down and picked up the hairband with the cat ears. Did you buy this too, Yunyun? Bei Yunj. Someone gave it to me. Huashidu's warm fingers rubbed the cat ears. His half-dark gaze was fixed on her with an indiscernible sense of aggression. His lazy voice was dragged out. It was light and seductive, making people blush and their hearts beat faster. This will be useful in the future. As soon as he finished speaking, Huashidu asked Aunt Meow to put the things away and put them in the storage room. Bei Yunj subconsciously turned her face away. Her ears inexplicably burned. Why was this D*MN man so lustful? I won't wear it. Bei Yunj did not have a good impression of this kind of thing. Huashidu's eyes were refined and noble. He only lowered his voice and chuckled. Then, he casually pinched the back of her neck. Yunyun will know how to wear it when she grows up. Bei Yunj. What did this dog man mean? Only Auntie Meow, who had been there before, was grinning from ear to ear. Young people are really interesting. Even the old woman blushed when she heard that. However, Aunt Meow could tell that Huashidu was very patient with Bei Yunj. He was probably afraid that the little girl would be frightened. Bei Yunj, who had yet to notice anything, had dinner with Huashidu. Where's Mo? Bei Yunj asked casually. I'm playing outside, Huashidu said calmly. Bei Yunj nodded and didn't think much about it. Yuncheng University. As soon as Bei Yunj and the others entered, they attracted a lot of attention. Isn't that girl too good-looking? Look at the boy next to her. His facial features are so deep. Is he mixed blood? Chu Zhixing, who was holding an umbrella for Bei Yunj to block the sun, heard the discussion and subconsciously froze. Master Pei, let's walk faster. Chu Zhixing was not used to this kind of environment. Bei Yunj responded and looked at the umbrella again. She asked subconsciously, Little Chu, do you wear this umbrella every day? Chu Zhixing. Yes. Although Bei Yunj was the one taking care of Chu Zhixing when it came to important matters, it was the other way around when it came to daily matters. Chapter 529. In the end, Chu Zhixing was like an old mother, afraid that Bei Yunj would get sunburned. Until they arrived at the hall. Bei Yunj and Chu Zhixing found their identity cards. Chu Zhixing was assigned to the advanced group. Bei Yunj was assigned to the ordinary group. Teacher, how are we divided into groups? Chu Zhixing asked with a frown. Your math scores for the whole year will be divided equally. The teacher pushed up his glasses and smiled. Chu Zhixing turned his head and asked unwillingly, Master Pei, how were your math scores in your previous school? Bei Yunj thought for a moment. More than 10 marks. The original owner was indeed not very good at math and science. Chu Zhixing was speechless. If that was the case, Master Pei's placement in the ordinary group was understandable. Bei Yunj took the materials from the teacher and turned to walk to the classroom for the ordinary group. Classroom 102. Bei Yunj had just walked in when more than half of the people were already seated. She glanced around indifferently and walked straight to the back row. She sat down, took out a piece of draft paper, and continued to solve the problem. It had to be said that this problem was indeed quite difficult. No one knew who came up with it. There were almost no existing mathematical formulas that could be advanced. Bei Yunj wrote for about half an hour. The people in front were all discussing. I heard that our special class can go abroad to compete in an international math competition. It's very valuable. Some people couldn't help but be excited. It's not our turn to win the competition. There are 30 to 40 people in the advanced group. The girl in a plain dress curled the corners of her mouth and said arrogantly, My cousin is Su Xianing, in the advanced group. When the time comes to sign up for the competition, we can choose teammates at will, so I can team with my cousin. Su Xianing. Is it Su Xianing from number 1 high school? Isn't she the top student in the third-year group? I heard that she got full marks in almost all her math exams in high school. Hearing this, everyone's eyes were filled with envy. I'm jealous. She's really strong. Do you think Su Xianing or Qing Zihuai is better? Then it must be Qing Zihuai. Su Xianing's language skills are quite average. Moreover, you don't know, right? Qing Zihuai has entered the Qingchong Computing Center. After saying this, everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. If the two of them were to form a team, wouldn't they be the big shot team? The plain-dressed girl's face was also filled with pride. I basically know everything about my sister. At that time, if she doesn't have enough teammates, I can help you. As soon as he finished speaking, everyone couldn't wait to curry favor with the girl. At this moment, a girl who looked gentle and quiet walked up to Bei Yunj. Can I sit here? As you wish. Bei Yunj came in a hurry today, so she didn't eat much. Now, she was lying lazily on the table, not wanting to waste her energy. The girl smiled and sat down beside Bei Yunj. She took out her notebook and pen and made sure that everything was neat and tidy. She turned around and saw Bei Yunj lying lazily on her stomach with a pile of draft papers in her arms. Teacher isn't here yet? The girl asked nonchalantly. Yes. Bei Yunj responded faintly. Then do you want to eat something? After saying this, the girl took out a paper box with 3 croissants inside. Bei Yunj raised an eyebrow. The moment she looked up, she saw the girl's lips curved as she looked at her with interest. It was as if she had seen a cat on the road and was eager to feed it. Chapter 530. Bae-yeonj narrowed her eyes and did not see the girl's expression. She only reached out lazily and took a croissant. Are you from Hongdae too? This indifferent and lazy look was very similar to the ragdoll cat she had raised when she was young. No, I'm from Ijong. The girl added, I'm a repeater. Me too. Bae-yeonj took a bite of the croissant and glanced at the girl unconsciously. Is Ijong close to Hongdae? Not very far. The girl seemed to have thought of something and said with a smile, Did you buy things from my mother's shop in the past? My mother owns a shop near Hongdae. Bae-yeonj sized up the girl's appearance. She did look a little similar. Bae-yeonj replied and thought for a moment. It's delicious. My name is Song-yao. Bae-yeonj. Bae-yeonj then looked at Song-yao. Song-yao's temperament was very good, gentle and elegant. She was wearing a dress that had been washed until it was slightly frayed, but she still looked refreshing and her eyes were clear. How's your mathematics? Song-yao asked. It's all right. Bae-yeonj held the croissant in one hand and chewed slowly, but she held a pen with the other. She suddenly had an idea for the last step. At the same time, a male lecturer walked in. Hello, everyone. I'm your teacher, Zhou Tao. Teacher Zhou looked friendly with a smile. When the students below the stage heard this, they also greeted him. I'm very honored to be your lecturer. I believe that everyone here is a top student in school. But in this class now, everyone is zero. Teacher Zhou smiled and said, Here, talent and hard work are equally important. Teacher, can the students from the ordinary group participate in the international competition? Someone could not help asking. Yes, but dark horses don't appear every year. If you want to be a dark horse, you have to work 100 times harder than others. At this point, Teacher Zhou opened the slide. What entered her eyes were 8 portraits hanging on the tall white wall. But only the third one had a portrait on it. The other 7 were all blank. That's Mr. Huntington. Someone with sharp eyes recognized it at a glance. This was a world-class mathematician. Yes, this is Professor Huntington. Teacher Zhou smiled and said, These 8 photo frames are used to hold the photos of the world's top mathematicians. Huntington was the first mathematician to solve one of the 8 great mathematical problems in the past 1,000 years. As for the remaining 7 questions, no one has been able to solve them. Is it that difficult? Below the stage, some people were whispering. When Teacher Zhou heard this, he only smiled. Then, he opened another picture. It was the 7 unsolved math problems. They were so densely packed that one would feel dizzy just by looking at them. F***ck, everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. Backstage, Bae-yeonj had just finished writing the last step. She looked up and suddenly froze. She looked up at the question on the slide and then at the question on her draft. This was no longer as simple as being similar. These were the 7 questions that Professor Do had given her. Bae-yeonj pinched the paper, her fingertips turning slightly white and her eyes darkening. In the next moment, she tore these drafts apart. This made Song-yao turn to look at her unconsciously. What's wrong? Nothing. Bae-yeonj took out her phone and saw the message Professor Do had sent her. Chapter 531. Aren't the questions quite difficult? Classmate Pei, talented people like us should be even more hardworking, right? Student Pei. Bae-yeonj's eyelids twitched when she saw the news that came every day. Marcus had asked her to try solving these questions before she went to University. Many people had expressed that she could try solving the 8 most difficult questions in the mathematics world when she published a mathematics paper on an international forum. However, Bae-yeonj had already rejected them. In her previous life, her ancestors had indeed left behind 7 similar problems for future generations to solve. Bei Yunj was the youngest person to solve the problem and was put on a pedestal. However, for some reason, she did not continue to solve the remaining 3 problems. At that time, everyone said that Bei Yunj was young and that she could solve more problems than this one. However, who knew that ever since Bei Yunj solved that question, she had never touched mathematics research again. At most, she would occasionally publish a paper. This made people start to doubt the authenticity of Bei Yunj's solution. After all, although Bei Yunj's father was born into a rich family, he was very talented in mathematics. Before Bei Yunj's father was the 3rd person to solve the 7 problems. He was only 26 years old. As a result, many people were debating the authenticity of Bei Yunj's solution. Did a 16-year-old girl solve this problem or did Mr. Pei solve it? Of course, some people also suspected that Bei Yunj's talent had run out. However, Bei Yunj's computer science achievements would bring a huge shock to people almost every year. Gradually, people stopped talking about this matter. If Bei Yunj's talent had really run out, then God must have felt that the door was not wide enough and directly chiseled the wall open for her. Old Do, is the genius you were talking about so difficult to deal with? The professor in the same office couldn't help but ask. It's more than difficult. Professor Do shook his head. In order to win over a genius, one had to work 100 times harder. I see that you've been looking up information recently. What are you doing? The professor next to him laughed. The little girl is not interested in our mathematics department, so I found those 8 questions for her. As soon as Professor Do finished speaking, the people around him stopped drinking their tea. Wait, which 8 questions are you talking about? It's the most difficult question in the world of mathematics, Professor Do said impatiently as he waved his hand. The professor. Are you serious? 18 questions were not a joke, okay? These were the 8 most difficult problems to solve in the mathematics world in the past 1,000 years. The portrait of the first solver was hung on the central wall of Neely University's hall. I think that little girl has a good temperament, but she lacks experience. So I sent her the questions last month. After Professor Do finished speaking, he was still drinking his tea proudly. It will take at least 40 years for someone to be able to solve these problems. Old Do, you're too cunning. Be careful that when people come to the mathematics department and find out that you send out the questions, they will hate you to death. That person couldn't help but laugh. If someone threw a set of questions at him, he would probably doubt whether he had the right to stay in the academic circle. She's young and very talented in mathematics. She can understand this new field in less than a month after publishing the paper. Professor Do said meaningfully, in the future, she might be able to solve it. Their country's scientific research had always been underestimated. Chapter 532. He didn't think that the children in their country were worse than the children abroad. All they lacked was time to change the current situation. Back home. Bei Yunj glanced at the messages. Most of the messages were from Professor Do. Professor Do, how's the solution coming along? Very soon. Bei Yunj replied. Bei Yunj, not very good. Seeing this message, Professor Do felt inexplicably guilty. He kept feeling that Bei Yunj's attitude didn't seem right. Could it be that she had found out that he had deliberately given her questions? The next moment, Professor Do sent another message. Before Bei Yunj could read it, she received a call. Teacher. Bei Yunj could tell that it was Tich's voice. Tich was a little nervous. Are you busy? No, what's the matter? Bei Yunj sat down and threw the thick stack of draft paper into a wire basket that she usually used. I just arrived in Yuncheng. Teacher, are you free tomorrow? Bei Yunj thought for a moment. Saturday. Is that okay? Tomorrow happened to be Chu Zhixing's birthday. Sure. Tich was a little flattered. Because it was the first time she was talking to Bei Yunj alone, she was extremely nervous. All right then. Good night. Bei Yunj responded lazily. Good night, teacher. After Tich finished speaking, she couldn't control her excitement. In a high-end hotel. As soon as Tich landed, he couldn't help but say, "Teacher just said good night to me." Jasmine. But we're not at night. That's what teacher said. When Tich thought of how good-looking his teacher was, he started to blush. Jasmine, this was the extent of the otaku. At this moment. In the lobby of the hotel, two handsome foreign men with exquisite facial features had attracted the attention of many people because of their presence. So handsome. Someone couldn't help but sigh softly. Sure enough, all good-looking young men, regardless of nationality, were very eye-catching. Until 2 hours later. In the top 3 of the hot search list, there were also corresponding terms such as #Yunqing chance encounter with the top rich second generation of our nation #Tich, and #Jasmine. This caused a lot of discussion among the citizens. Jasmine, I can. As expected of the son of the heavenly queen, he's so handsome. Who's the handsome guy next to Jasmine? Beauties, quickly arrange the information. DBQ, I just connected to the internet. I don't know about Jasmine either. Popular science post, Jasmine is the son of Winslina, one of the top rich second-generation heirs in our nation. His father is the leader of the fashion industry, which is one of the top 10 fashion companies in the world. Not many people might know Tich, but everyone must know about the Delaney Group. Tich was the only son of the founder of the Delaney Group. They really were all second-generation rich kids. Moreover, he is young and rich. F***CK. I was shocked by the post. I thought he was just an ordinary handsome guy. What is this rich second generation doing in Yun City? I remember that the rich people overseas are very repulsive towards us continents. Everyone was puzzled. Tich and Jasmine weren't ordinary rich people either. They were the top rich second generation heirs of our nation. But soon, there was an answer. Those in the academic circle, come and say something. As far as I know, it's very likely that they're here to participate in the academic exchange. It happened to be held in Yun City this year. OS, Jasmine and Tich are interns at the Institute of Computational Technology in our nation. F***CK, students. Chapter 533. He's handsome, but his teacher is. That's not right. Even if his teacher is an intern at Country R's Institute of Computational Technology, he shouldn't be qualified to participate in this academic exchange, right? Yeah, and didn't something happen to Marcus recently? The intern doesn't have an invitation, but he definitely has one. Oh, isn't he spoiling his students too much? Boo-hoo, I want to be his student too. Upstairs, why are you so drunk? The rich second-generation heirs are outstanding interns, so they have the chance to be his students. What everyone didn't expect was that the main character would respond very quickly. Jasmine, this is my first post on Country A's social media site. Please take care of me in the future. Seeing this post, the netizens were all excited. Jae Ming, groundhog screams, he actually opened an official account. Hubby, do you lack money? Calm down, don't let Jasmine think that Country A's girls are like wolves and tigers. As soon as this message was posted, he immediately received a reply from the main character. Jasmine replied, that won't happen. Jasmine is so cute. However, at this moment, Jasmine, who knew what the netizens meant through the translation, felt that the netizens were ridiculous. Like wolves and tigers? That didn't exist. Every time he handed in his report in class, he could only feel his teacher's indescribable disdain and coldness. At this moment, the netizens were still very curious about the top rich second-generation heirs. Jasmine, are you here to participate in the academic exchange? Soon, Jasmine replied. Yes, I'm here to see teacher too. Seeing Jasmine's reply, everyone could roughly guess what kind of status he had in the hearts of Jasmine's students. They didn't know whether to be envious that he had two rich second-generation heirs as students or that he had a big boss as a teacher. Bayue. The next day, Bei Yunj woke up early in the morning and went downstairs while rubbing her face. Miss, what's wrong with your face? Auntie Meow saw it from the corner of her eye and asked with concern. Bei Yunj said, No, it's a toothache. Miss, could it be a wisdom tooth? Auntie Meow asked worriedly. If it was a wisdom tooth, she would have to go and get it removed. Bei Yunj, it really did look like wisdom teeth. Miss, do you want to go to the hospital after school? Bei Yunj shook her head. Not yet. She still had to go to Chu Zhixing's birthday party tonight. Bei Yunj, who had woken up earlier than usual because her wisdom teeth hurt, did not see Huashidu sitting on the sofa and reading the newspaper. About 10 minutes later, the man went downstairs and saw Bei Yunj sitting on the sofa. You're up so early today. Huashidu chuckled. Sir, Miss seems to have wisdom teeth, Aunt Meow said with a frown. Those who did not know better would think that Bei Yunj had contracted some strange disease. Huashidu looked at the girl on the sofa who seemed a little unhappy. He could not help but smile. All right, I got it. Aunt Meow was relieved to hear Huashidu's words. Then I'll go and wake the young master up. Aunt Meow smiled and went upstairs. At this moment, Bei Yunj was still browsing through the literature in boredom, but the existence of wisdom teeth was still hard to ignore. Suddenly, a warm and cool touch gently pressed against Bei Yunj's cheek. This made Bei Yunj subconsciously turn her head, and her red lips brushed past the back of the man's index finger. The itchy feeling of a feather brushing past made the man's gaze darken in an instant, but it quickly returned to normal. Chapter 534. Bei Yunj glanced at him. It's all right. It was just that her tooth hurt in the middle of the night and she couldn't sleep much. Huashidu curled his lips and scratched her chin casually. Let's go eat first. I'll get Sing Su to apply for leave for you. Apply for leave? Yes, I'll bring you to the clinic later. In the car, Bei Yunj sat in the front passenger seat and suddenly asked, Brother, don't you have a lot of work to do in the company? It's all right. The other people in charge will do as they see fit. Huashidu said nonchalantly. Hearing this, Bei Yunj did not say anything. But in the next moment, Huashidu's phone rang. He casually pressed the answer button in the car. His handsome eyes were indifferent as he said casually, What's the matter? Master Du, have you forgotten what we have today? Bei Yunj could tell that it was Yu Hanran's voice. I have something on today. Huashidu spoke unhurriedly. When Yu Hanran heard this, he immediately asked, What happened? The man's tone was light. I'm taking my child to the hospital. Yu Hanran's voice sounded even more concerned. What's wrong with her? Is she sick? Wisdom teeth extraction. Yu Hanran, he did not care about the company's negotiations just to accompany Bei Yunj to have her wisdom teeth extracted. He almost thought that no matter how weak Bei Yunj was, she would at least have a high fever. In the end, she was just going to have her wisdom teeth extracted. Yu Hanran took a deep breath and put on a fake smile. Master Du, when I was young, I always went to the hospital alone to have my wisdom teeth extracted. Yes, I need you to go to a meeting alone now. Huashidu's low and lazy voice sounded. In the next second, the call was hung up. 5:16 Yuhan ran, who was hung up. Huashidu was really done for this time. He had already doted on her to this extent. He was really crazy. In a private clinic, Huashidu brought Bei Yunj upstairs. Then, a handsome man in a white coat walked over. There was a hint of playfulness in his eyes. Master Du, what's wrong with this little girl? This was the first time he saw Huashidu bring someone to this clinic. However, this young lady's appearance was indeed excessively beautiful. She was a femme fatale. Huashidu said casually, let's check. She has a toothache. She must have grown wisdom teeth. Jiang Baichuan raised his eyebrows and looked at Bei Yunj again. Toothache. He thought that Huashidu had done something to harm the little girl, so he brought the little girl here to do that. In the end, he only brought a little girl here to pull out a tooth. Aren't you looking for teeth? Huashidu's gaze landed on him. Yes, yes. Jiang Baichuan chuckled and couldn't help but look at Bei Yunj. Little girl, let's go. I'll take you to fill out a form. After Bei Yunj left with the nurse, Jiang Baichuan asked curiously, Master Du, is this your relative? No. The man was nonchalant. All right, I got it. Jiang Baichuan snorted. When he saw the way Huashidu looked at Bei Yunj, he roughly understood Huashidu's attitude towards this little girl. In this aspect, men knew men the best. Suddenly, Huashidu asked, will it hurt to pull out wisdom teeth? Jiang Baichuan looked at him subconsciously. After the tooth was pulled out, Bei Yunj walked out with a dark expression. Her usually smiling eyes were cold. She had an aura that said, do not disturb others. Chapter 535. Bei Yunj looked down and saw a cute little boy. His big eyes were bright and clear as he said in admiration, Sister is so cool. I didn't even hear you cry out in pain. Bei Yunj was originally unhappy, but when she heard this, her expression became much better. She had just pulled out her tooth and was still biting on a cotton ball to stop the bleeding. She could not speak and could only raise her eyebrows lazily. She reached out to touch the child's head and walked out of the long corridor. At this moment, the little boy turned around and saw a young man walking over. He blinked his big eyes and his eyes curved unconsciously. Sister is so gullible. The man's thin lips curled up and the corners of his upturned eyes were charming. He bent his knees and looked into the child's eyes. He handed him a box of chocolates. His deep voice had a hint of playfulness and laziness. Yes, because big sister is also a child. The man seemed to have thought of something and chuckled. She's much harder to coax than you. Thank you, dear brother. The little boy's eyes sparkled when he saw the entire box of chocolates. Then, he carried the big box of chocolates and ran away happily. After returning, there was hot porridge on the table. Huashidu saw that Bei Yunj did not eat much porridge in the morning. She must be hungry now. He glanced at his watch and saw that it was about time. He sat in front of Bei Yunj and gently scooped the porridge with his slender and good-looking hand. Auntie Meow just made it. It's a little hot. The man's clean white shirt cuffs were rolled up to his elbows in a refined manner. His handsome and noble eyes could not hide his elegance. His tone was light. Come here, I'll feed you. Bei Yunj looked at Huashidu's face and started to be bewitched again. Huashidu also felt that the little girl was staring straight at him without hiding anything. The corners of his thin red lips curled up as he carefully fed Bei Yunj the porridge that had cooled down. He looked up. Seeing the little girl looking at him with a touching gaze, Huashidu was a little amused. His voice was lazy and irredeemably sexy. Are you so touched, Yunyun? Bei Yunj nodded without thinking. Ching ching. Yes. After all, this was the first time he had been served like this. The man's eyes were dark and unreadable. Suddenly, he leaned closer to her. His deep and magnetic voice hid a hint of a smile as he whispered into her ear, "Then, in the future, would you allow me to wear the cat ears that you collected from the market for me to see?" Bei Yunj. Don't even think about it. The man curled his lips. If you're not saying anything, I'll take it as a yes. She quickly swallowed the porridge and seriously refused, no. Then Yunyun agrees. The man chuckled in a low voice and rubbed his fingers against her cheek intimately and happily. Bei Yunj, who was ignored. Evening. Bei Yunj followed the address and went to the private room booked by Chu Zhixing. He found that the people inside were all competing in drinking. Bei Yunj, Master Pei. One of the boys looked at Bei Yunj, who was wearing a black mask, and shouted suspiciously. Bei Yunj hummed lightly and walked into the private room to sit down. Yunj, can I drink? Lu Yuanci originally wanted to ask Bei Yunj to drink with him, but he suddenly remembered that Bei Yunj was a girl. Bei Yunj shook her head. That's strange. Master Pei, aren't you being too reserved today? Lu Yuanci had a feeling that Bei Yunj's aggressiveness seemed to have decreased a lot. Bei Yunj. Chapter 536. Bei Yunj looked at him silently for a while before she turned around indifferently. I just had my wisdom teeth extracted. Lu Yuanci was speechless. Everyone was speechless. At first, they thought that Bei Yunj had gone to Yun University. They did not expect her to have her teeth extracted. Originally, on this day, everyone was going to have hot pot after singing. However, they were worried that Bei Yunj might not be able to do it, so they could only change it to having porridge together. However, Bei Yunj did not expect to bump into Yu Manran the moment she came back from the washroom. Yunj? Yu Manran sounded surprised. Why are you here? Bei Yunj asked. Me? I came with my manager. Wait a minute, Yunj, your voice is a little strange. Yu Manran grabbed Bei Yunj's hand. Do you have a cold? No, I just had my wisdom teeth extracted, Bei Yunj said lazily. At this moment, Bei Yunj did not realize that she was much more patient than before. Really? Let me tell you, when my brother came back from having his wisdom teeth extracted, he almost cried in pain. Yu Manran looked shocked. Bei Yunj was speechless. No wonder Yu Hanran's tone did not sound too good today. Before they went back, Chu Zhixing and the rest had cancelled many projects, probably because Bei Yunj had just had her teeth extracted. But before she left, Lu Yuanci stuffed a firecracker into her hand. Bei Yunj raised an eyebrow slowly, her eyes filled with doubt. The boy was wearing a simple black t-shirt. His handsome eyes were a little cynical. Under the night light, his dark eyes were deep and light. A low and casual teenage voice sounded teasingly. Our Master Pei's firecracker. For a few days. Bei Yunj did not go to the computing institute either, so she did not know what had happened in the scientific research field these few days. Until Saturday. 33 Bei Yunj asked Tich and Jasmine to meet at a cafe. When do you think the teacher will come? Jasmine was inexplicably nervous. Tich was speechless. 2 days ago, when he was nervous, Jasmine had mocked him for being useless. Now that they were about to meet, he had calmed down a little, but Jasmine was starting to get nervous. Soon. Tich would look out from time to time, but this was probably because they had been on the hot search list once. Many people kept looking at them. Seeing that the agreed time was almost up, Jasmine's gaze landed on Tich and he immediately reached out to fix Tich's collar. Your collar is a little crooked. The next moment, Titch tacitly reached out his hand and helped Jesse adjust his tie. Yours too. Seeing this, the girls who wanted to ask for his contact information immediately gave up on the idea. Bei Yunj, who had just arrived, didn't even have time to take off her mask before she saw this scene. Bei Yunj, in the entire restaurant, only this table was filled with foreigners, so it was easy to recognize them. What are you doing? Bei Yunj asked slowly. Hearing this familiar voice and the familiar way of asking questions, Titch and Roland inexplicably stiffened. The suffocating feeling from class returned. Teacher. Titch and Jasmine were about to stutter. They looked at the girl in front of them who was wearing a hat and a mask. Even her eyes couldn't be seen clearly. They were inexplicably incoherent. They actually saw a living teacher today. Both of their hearts were in a state of shock. Bei Yunj thought for a moment. What would you like to drink? My treat. Okay. Chapter 537. Where's Marcus? Didn't he come with you? After ordering the drinks, Bei Yunj asked casually. Instantly, Jasmine and Titch froze, not daring to look Bei Yunj in the eye. No, he didn't come. Bei Yunj sensed that something was wrong and her tone became indifferent. He didn't come. At this moment, the two of them did not dare to speak. You're hiding something from me. Bei Yunj said casually, as if she was just stating a fact. Teacher, Jasmine and Titch's expressions changed. They were afraid of making Bei Yunj unhappy. All right, go back early after drinking. Bei Yunj's tone was indifferent, and no emotions could be seen in her eyes. However, when Jasmine and Titch heard this, they immediately panicked. Teacher, we didn't mean to hide it from you. Titch could not help but tell the truth. Yes, something happened to Marcus, so he couldn't come. He didn't want us to tell you. Jasmine's voice became softer and softer, but Bei Yunj heard it very clearly. What happened? Bei Yunj frowned unconsciously. Jasmine and Titch looked at each other. In the end, Titch told her everything. Marcus was reported for vicious competition and has been suspended. After all, Marcus's Computing Institute was not a private research institute like the Computing Institute. Our nation's Institute of Computing Technology was a public research institute. Suspended. Bei Yunj frowned unconsciously. Although Marcus was nominated for Busaka this year, he did not win the award. However, his position in our nation's computing field was unshakable. Originally, our research institute agreed that we could transfer Marcus to the director position this year, but at this juncture, Marcus was reported. The people in the institute were also very worried, but now the director position had been taken over. Marcus was suspended, and they did not know if he could come back. Do you know the reason? Bei Yunj poked at the straw in her cup. They suspect that Marcus used you for vicious competition. Titch glanced at Bei Yunj and said. Indeed. During this period of time, the name T had been highly praised in the scientific research field. He was the most anticipated newcomer. Naturally, he was being stared at by countless pairs of eyes. In the eyes of ordinary people, the scientific research community was perhaps the cleanest existence. But in reality, as long as there are people, it is impossible to avoid the good and evil of human nature. Because of me. Bei Yunj's eyes darkened. She didn't care much about her reputation, so she never cared about her reputation outside. But he did not expect that it would affect Marcus. Teacher, don't blame yourself. You're also a victim in this matter. Moreover, Marcus knows that you've encountered a lot of trouble in your country, so he doesn't want you to be implicated. Jasmine comforted. Bei Yunj nodded. All right, I think I know what to do now. Those people said nothing more than that her academic results in the circle were falsified and used this matter to attack Marcus. After chatting for a while, Bei Yunj received a message. Hello, may I know who you are? I'm Superintendent Jose. I'm very happy that I can work with you in the future. The new superintendent is called Jose. Bei Yunj casually glanced at the content below and asked casually. Yes. Jasmine nodded and realized that Jose might have sent a message to Bei Yunj. However, the next moment, Bei Yunj blocked this number without looking at it. Chapter 538. This new director's behavior was rather interesting. Everyone knew that Marcus was the one who brought him into the institute. Everyone also knew that Marcus was indebted to him. However, now, he didn't mention anything about Marcus. Instead, he wanted to steal Marcus's talent. Bei Yunj snorted lightly. When Jasmine and Titch saw their teacher's actions, they roughly knew that the new director had encountered a cold rebuff. As expected. After sending the message. Seeing that there was no reply, Jones couldn't help but send a few more messages, but they all sank into the sea. His expression changed, and he made another call. However, after a beep, he could only hear the cold female voice of the caller ID. It was obvious that he had been blacklisted. This. Jones's face instantly turned green. In the entire institute, no one dared to disobey him like this. After eating with Titch and Jasmine, Bei Yunj went home first. On the way, she received an unknown phone call. But when she heard this angry voice, she guessed who this person was. You really dare to go against me? Do you know that Marcus will be nothing soon? How dare you provoke me like this? Bei Yunj laughed, her eyes filled with coldness that was not a smile. She was arrogant and careless. Really? Then who do you think you are? Instantly, Jones's expression changed. And Bei Yunj couldn't be bothered to talk nonsense with him. She directly hung up the phone and called Marcus instead. Hello. Who is it? The voice from the other end sounded a little drunk. If you're delirious, I'll call you again tomorrow, Bei Yunj said slowly. Hearing the familiar voice, Marcus sobered up. Goober. Marcus probed. I heard that you've been suspended. When did this happen? Bei Yunj's tone sounded like she was asking Marcus how the weather was today. But Marcus was still quite afraid that Bei Yunj would be angry. This was half a month ago. Marcus said cautiously. Bei Yunj said leisurely, you guys hit it well. Are you angry? No. Bei Yunj leaned lazily against the car seat and said unhurriedly, it just so happens that we have less than 7 days to terminate the contract. Marcus. Heartless girl. After a while. Marcus sighed again and smiled helplessly, this time's matter has taught me a lesson. Fortunately, you still have a week before your contract is terminated. Otherwise, people like Jose would never let Bei Yunj off the hook. Marcus. Bei Yunj suddenly shouted. Marcus subconsciously asked, what's wrong? What's the big deal? Just treat it as a holiday. I'll let you come back. Bei Yunj looked at the scenery outside the window. The emotions in her beautiful eyes did not change, and her languid tone sounded as unruly as ever. Marcus' eyes were swollen and he was deeply moved. I'll never tell anyone that you have a bad temper again. Bei Yunj, the next day. The international media once again hyped up the incident at Country R's Institute of Computational Technology. The reason was that the new director was suspected of purging the institute and wanted to remove it. And at this time, Hong Chongjin, who had found an opportunity, naturally did not forget to fan the flames. Seeing that the scientific research field could create such a big commotion, the rest of the public was also very concerned about this matter. It wasn't until this afternoon that Jones accepted an interview. Chapter 539. Everyone looked at Jose, who was standing in front of the spotlight, looking like a gentle old scholar. Is that so? This is a private matter of the Research Institute. However, it is true that she is loyal to Marcus. His words were tactful, but it also told everyone that the report in the morning was not wrong. She was going to leave the Institute of Computational Technology. At this moment, someone in the Computing Institute could not sit still anymore. Where did this old trash come from? How dare he purge my student? Is he tired of living? Nancy's expression turned ugly. Looking at Jose's proud face in front of the spotlight, she was so angry that smoke was coming out of her head. At this moment, Zhong Xinglin did not correct Nancy. Control yourself. I called Gu just now. She told me not to interfere. She is going to be despised by everyone. Why are you not interfering? Nancy's eyes widened. Don't be anxious. You can tell everyone that she is your student. This can indeed solve the crisis for a while. But at that time, he will be watched by even more pairs of eyes. Zhong Xinglin glanced at him. Besides, don't you know that she is from your family? If others knew that Nancy had chosen a successor, Bai Yunj would live in fear for the rest of her life. After all, those people from the Higgins family would do anything in order to fight for the successor. Then what can we do? This is the last resort. Let's wait first. Zhong Xinglin clenched his fists. His palms were sweaty. Anyway, no matter what, the successor of the Computing Institute would be Bai Yunj. Even if that old thing was suspended from the Institute of Computational Technology, he could still come to his Computing Institute. Anyway, they would quarrel even if they did not meet. In the bedroom, Bai Yunj scanned the manuscript that she had been working on all day. 2:58. Her eyes darkened. At that moment, she clicked the mouse and sent the email. A few days later, this matter was getting bigger and bigger. Even Zhong Xinglin could not sit still. But when he walked out of the door angrily to look for Nancy, he saw Bai Yunj squatting in the courtyard, watering the flowers. Zhong Xinglin, it was true that Bai Yunj had a good mentality. If it were anyone else, they would be pouring water on their own heads instead of the flower's head. He walked closer to Bai Yunj and asked gently, Gu, are you all right? That's good. The matter should be settled soon. Bai Yunj narrowed her beautiful eyes and glanced at the sun in the sky. Is it going to be resolved? Zhong Xinglin suspected that Bai Yunj was talking in his sleep. Yes. After Bai Yunj finished watering one basin, she switched to another one. Most likely, he was talking in his sleep. Yunj, why don't you just make a statement and say that you came to the Computing Institute? This way, people won't keep slandering you. If I do, those people will say it too, and they'll even bring you along. Bai Yunj glanced at Zhong Xinglin and chuckled. Let's wait a little longer. Hearing the main character say this, Zhong Xinglin could not do anything no matter how anxious he was. The next day, the notice of delisting from the Institute of Computational Technology in our nation was officially released, causing the outside world to discuss fervently. Hong Chongjin seemed to have fulfilled his last wish in life. He was happy and smug. Now that Marcus was done for, Zhong Xinglin would also be implicated. After all, Marcus and Zhong Xinglin were so close. Chapter 540. However, in the afternoon, a group of people on the internet had just started to follow the trend and criticize. All of a sudden, something strange began to happen. Cherished Mathematics Award. Congratulations to the following scholars for being nominated for this year's Cherished Mathematics Award. 1. Cesar Frank, Our Nation. 2. Sami Khan, Our Nation. 3. Tenya Yabuno, J Nation. 4. A Nation. The above rankings are listed in order of nomination. Thank you for your attention throughout the year. The news was only posted on the official website. Initially, no one paid attention to it because there were not many mathematicians in a nation. However, when it spread to the internet, the news started to blow up. This was not because of the nomination of a person from a nation, but because on the same day, the official website released an announcement. 3 of the 8,000 questions had been successfully solved. And this year, 2 of them were solved by the same person. This made everyone in disbelief. They did not know where this god came from to do such a crazy thing. Solving 2 of the 8,000 questions at once, this was something that they would not even dare to dream about before today. However, when everyone saw the signature of the person who solved the 8,000 questions, their bodies froze. On the title of the official website, the signature was in bold. Soon, the discussion on the internet was in full swing. Everyone was criticizing the new director of our nation's Institute of Computational Technology, Jones. They blamed Jones for going overboard and removing him from the institute. This was the person who solved the 8,000 questions, and he solved more than one question. And he was chased back to a nation. What kind of idiot could do such a thing? Hence, an hour later, under the anger of the public, a large number of online protests began, demanding the replacement of the new director, Jones. Everyone in the upper echelons knew about this matter. 80-90 as for the masses from other countries, many of them were watching the show as well. After all, this was not the first time our nation liked to poach researchers from other countries. Who would have thought that this time, a real god would come, and in the end, he would be personally chased out by his subordinates. This was enough to make our nation's enemies laugh for an entire year. At the same time, there was also a heated discussion on the internet in a nation. The entries about hashtag, the 8,000 questions hashtag, and the nomination for the Cherished Prize hashtag were all firmly at the top of the list. There was even a dark red word next to it. The reversal in the morning and afternoon was also very suffocating. Many people tagged Hong Chongjin under this post. At Hong Chongjin, can you explain? Can you answer 1,008 questions? Confused. A plaything of capital. Are you sure? At Hong Chongjin, come out and take a beating at Hong Chongjin. At this moment, Hong Chongjin, who had received so many private messages, was very puzzled at first. However, when he saw these entries, he understood. His expression changed, and he immediately clicked to read the content. A few minutes later, he unconsciously took a few steps back. His legs were weak, and his entire body was trembling. Impossible, how is this possible? How could there be someone who could solve the question? Why did this person have to be? At this moment, Hong Chongjin felt that his qi and blood were not flowing smoothly. He blacked out and collapsed. The other students in the same research room were shocked, and they quickly sent him to the hospital. At this moment, discussions were still going on online. They're all humans, so why are they so smart? My scalp is numb. Seriously. How many years has it been since our country had a mathematician? Chapter 541. My computer science professor at Neely University is already cursing in front of the entire class. There's a shortage of people in the computer science field. Jose is forcing people into the field of mathematics. F***ck. Why do I feel like a demon king is going to appear in the scientific research field? I'm tired of saying this. Now I just want to say, awesome. Sob, sob, sob. Come back quickly. Well, thank you, people of our nation, for sending back. We're very satisfied, dog head, oh. Daddy, bring our country's scientific research forward. However, what was even more unpredictable was, about an hour later, there was also a movement on the official website of the KZ Busaka Computer Award. KZ Busaka Computer Award, congratulations to the first KZ Busaka Award candidate. Thank you for your contribution to the field of computing. At the same time, thank you for your support for the annual Busaka Award. After this message, there was a translation in Country A's language, as if they were afraid that they would not understand their intentions. And immediately after, when this news spread to the internet, it almost paralyzed the headlines. Busaka almost made "Love Me Again" on the public screen this year. Ha 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 ha, Busaka is no longer the noble and cold Busaka Award. Do you know that your award ceremony only ended half a month ago? It'll be at least 8 to 9 months before your next candidate list is announced, right? He's anxious, he's anxious, he's anxious. Ha 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 ha, after all, his opponent is Farisk. He's starting to be afraid. F***ck, there are so many strange things this year. When did Busaka become an official announcement for each candidate? Dog head, I'm going crazy. Ha ha ha, is this the year of Country A in the scientific research world? I'm happy. In the end. Love House. The Busaka Award was held by Country R, but the Our Nation R's scientific research and political circles were distinct and had always been in a state of irrelevance. Therefore, they did not want to dislike the Our Nation R's scientific research and computing field because of Jose, who was appointed by the higher-ups. Moreover, the Our Nation R's scientific research community had always hated the involvement of the higher-ups in such matters. Therefore, this time, Jose's public outburst had also hit the Our Nation R's scientific research community. In the scientific research community, no matter how many dirty tricks there were, strength was still the absolute king. At this moment, Jose was stunned. Busaka and Farizik, to be nominated for 2 international awards in 1 year, this was an achievement that most people would never be able to achieve in their lifetime. How is this possible? How is this possible? Jose held his head with both hands, his face contorted in pain. He knew it was all over. If the higher-ups knew about this, they would definitely drag him down. It wasn't just to appease the masses, it was also to appease them. After all, no one would provoke a top researcher. But in the past 3 years, he had prepared so much just to replace Marcus. And the result? In the end, he had only been the new director for less than a month, at this moment. Marcus was still playing games. His eyes were bloodshot, and he was yawning and not shaving. He did not believe that Bai Yunj could really bring him back. He just felt that it was good that Bai Yunj had the intention to do so. But in the next moment, Marcus received a phone call. Is it Marcus? The other party's voice was too gentle, making Marcus frown. What? Chapter 542. Oh. Just as Marcus was about to hang up the phone, he suddenly reacted and sobered up. What did you say? I've been reinstated and promoted again. Yes, you really have good taste. There's also this trump card. Marcus instinctively asked, are you still asleep? What a joke. Even his friends could not help him with this matter. Gu had just entered the scientific research field. What could she do? The other party probably did not expect Marcus to say this. Then, he put on a fake smile. You probably didn't see the news. She was just nominated for the Ferris Prize because of the 8,000 questions. 8,000 questions. Although Marcus was in the computing field, he still had a deep impression of the 8,000 questions in the mathematics world. After so many years, only one mathematician had solved one. Yes, she solved 2 questions. Currently, the professors of the mathematics department at Neely University are studying these 2 questions. Marcus. Was he really not hallucinating? She solved the 8,000 questions. When he regained his senses, Marcus could not help but gasp. So this was the method Bai-Yunj had mentioned. Jones and the others had plotted, saying that he had created a genius persona for his members, that there was vicious competition in the academic circle, and that it was morally corrupt. In the end, this person had simply played a big game and made this persona a reality. Other than Zhong Xinglin, there were also 2 people from the Computing Institute who could not recover at once. The 2 of them were in a daze and could not believe it. Did I hear wrongly? It's the 8,000 questions. Nance's hands were trembling. He had originally thought that this young lady was quite talented in computing, but in the end, she had solved 2 of the 8,000 questions at once. I found out when I was chatting with the professor next door. Professor Do from the department next door gave the 8,000 questions Bai-Yunj. Si Qingyan took a deep breath and subconsciously pursed his lips. The mathematics department was still in a heated discussion. He also knows that Bai-Yunj is. Zhong Xinglin immediately asked. Si Qingyan shook his head. No, I heard him mention it casually. He thinks Bai-Yunj is a talented girl, so he wants to suppress Bai-Yunj's arrogance with these questions. But this was the result. What Professor Do did not expect was that the super genius he was talking about was Bai-Yunj, the person he wanted to suppress. You must keep your mouth shut. Don't let anyone else know. At this moment, Zhong Xinglin felt his scalp tingle. Now, he already had Marcus and Stephen, and now there was Nancy. He didn't want anyone else to come and snatch the successor from him. Even if others don't know, there are many people in the industry who want to poach him. Si Qingyan's eyelids twitched. You guys probably don't know. Yesterday, Hong Chongjin found out that he solved 1,000 questions and fainted from anger. He's already lying in the hospital. The innate talent of some people was indeed too terrifying. They already thought that Bai-Yunj's talent was monstrous enough. But who would have thought that today's situation would occur? He was going crazy. Nancy, Zhong Xinglin, that's right. Those with poor tolerance would easily take things too hard. In the afternoon, all the computing institutes were informed to have a meeting, including the Computing Institute. As soon as Marcus returned, he was called by Neely University, who repeatedly asked for a portrait. They even asked if he had any intention of becoming an honorary professor of Neely University. This made it difficult for Marcus to answer. Chapter 543. Although Bai-Yunj did not explain these things, with Bai-Yunj's character, she would not agree to it either. Marcus turned a blind eye and sent Bai-Yunj's email to the people from Neely University. In the following period of time, this name was discussed for a long time, but no one was as hateful as before. After that, another piece of news about Qin Youjiao broke out and quickly became a trending topic. Hashtag Qin Youjiao, International Musicians Association hashtag soon. Because Qin Youjiao was not even 20 years old, she entered the International Musicians Association and became popular on the internet again. However, this time, Qin Youjiao's popularity even had fans outside the internet. In the afternoon, Bai-Yunj was on her way to the Computing Institute. What are you thinking? You actually let Qin Youjiao enter the International Musicians Association. Yu Manran was about to crack. She thought that with Bai-Yunj's temper, she would not let Qin Youjiao enter the International Musicians Association. What's wrong? Bai-Yunj asked carelessly as she glanced at the scenery outside the window. Today, Qin Youjiao's marketing is more than an artiste like me. She can't wait to let the world know that she's a young genius pianist. When Yu Manran said the last term, he chuckled. Marketing what? Bei Yunj raised an eyebrow. The International Musicians Association. Entering the International Musicians Association is a qualitative leap in status. Yu Manran really wanted to tell everyone that her guo was much more outstanding than that young genius pianist. If it wasn't for Yun, how could she, Qin Yojiao, have the chance to go to the International Musicians Association? What's there to market? Bei Yunj snorted, her fingers still on the keyboard as she said carelessly with lowered eyes, I went to apply for a spot for you. You can also study in the International Musicians Association. When you pass the exam, you can stay in the International Musicians Association. With that said, the other party seemed to be silent for a long time. Then an excited scream sounded, almost making Bei Yunj's hands tremble, and she deleted the document. Bei Yunj was speechless. Goober, really? Sob sob sob, Goober, you're too good to me. Then can I hang up first? Bei Yunj asked slowly. Yu Manran refused. No. Bei Yunj raised her eyebrows. Why do you have so much to say? Do you want to chat with me? It's really important this time. Goober, did Master Du say anything about bringing you out tonight? No. With that said, Bei Yunj asked, what's wrong? Master Du will be attending a banquet today, and he requested to bring a female companion. If he didn't tell you, you have to keep a close eye on him. Yu Manran was like an old mother, constantly reminding Bei Yunj. Bei Yunj asked, where did you get the news from? As for my brother, there are already a lot of people asking around if Master Du brought a female companion. I think many people want to stuff their daughters and sisters in. Yu Manran was used to it, but he still hoped that Bei Yunj would show her power as the main wife. However, after hearing this, the other party was silent for a while. Yes, is there anything else? Yu Manran was speechless. After going to the Computing Institute, a few official members of the institute stared at her without blinking. Bei Yunj was silent for a moment. What's the matter? Si Qingyan couldn't help but be curious. He touched Bei Yunj's head again. This hair volume is real too. Is her brain real too? Was there really someone who could use their brain to this extent? In the past, he had seen such geniuses in movies, but now, he had seen it with his own eyes. Chapter 544. Bei Yunj slapped Si Qingyan's hand away. Her beautiful face was expressionless. Si Qingyan was speechless. Oh no, he had gone too far. Fortunately. Then, Zhong Xinglin walked in and sighed. I went to a meeting in Lin City. When everyone heard this, their gazes landed on Zhong Xinglin. One had to know that when all the directors were gathered for a meeting, there would be an especially important task. Did you say anything? Si Qingyan was the first to ask curiously. I only said a little during the meeting. Zhong Xinglin's gaze landed on Bei Yunj. I found it. Bei Yunj was speechless. Everyone was speechless. That's right. To anyone now, Bei Yunj was in high demand. Even the higher-ups were starting to take it seriously. And they said that the country will do its best to support the team you're in from now on. Zhong Xinglin also had mixed feelings. However, for the higher-ups to make such an arrangement, it could be seen how much they valued a talent like Bei Yunj. Now that Country R's Institute of Computational Technology was willing to take the initiative to return it intact, the higher-ups were probably overjoyed. Master Pei is really good. He single-handedly sent Marcus to the top and even got the country to back him up. Si Qingyan sighed. Oh right, Goober, your contract with Country R's Computing Institute. Zhong Xinglin asked. It's already over. After Bei Yunj finished speaking, the slightly plump director beside her looked at Bei Yunj with shining eyes. Zhong Xinglin also laughed. Then next, Bei Yunj smiled. Next, I want to work with your institute. At this moment, Zhong Xinglin felt like a daughter-in-law who had finally become a mother-in-law. He instantly stood up excitedly. Okay. On my side, I'll revise the contract again. I guarantee that you'll benefit the most. After Zhong Xinglin finished speaking, the director beside him looked at Zhong Xinglin in disbelief. He had started drafting the contract 2 months ago. Bei Yunj's treatment was unprecedented. He still wanted to fix Bei Yunj's car. I'll listen to you. Bei Yunj did not have any objections to this. However, while I'm on the job, I hope that I can choose my team freely, whether it's internal or external. No problem. Zhong Xinglin answered with a smile. Si Qingyan clicked his tongue. Even if you want the stars, our old Zhong will never pluck the moon for you. Rest assured. Zhong Xinglin, who had finally made it through, called Marcus, who had been very busy recently. Marcus, Gu, has agreed to join us. Zhong Xinglin sighed. He felt that the last thing he needed in this world was face. The next moment, Marcus hung up the phone. It was not until Zhong Xinglin called again and again that Marcus completely exploded. Are you done yet? Come on, didn't you already know that Gu wouldn't stay with you for long? Zhong Xinglin snorted. Knowing and being sad are two different things. I've been treating Gu like my own daughter for the past 3 months. Hearing Marcus's resentful tone, Zhong Xinglin was amused. Alright, Gu made a request today. She wants to work with someone outside the institute. She probably still misses you guys. Really? Marcus probed. Why would I lie to you? Zhong Xinglin was amused, especially when he heard the sniffling sound from the other end. Don't tell me you're crying. You're the one who's crying, old thing. When they reached home, Bei Yunj started to recall Yu Manrin's words. Chapter 545. A moment later. Bei Yunj felt that her thoughts were too petty. It was not strange to bring a female companion to a business dinner. With this thought in mind, Bei Yunj went upstairs. However, 10 minutes later, Bei Yunj kept recalling the scene of her interaction with Washidu. Only then did she feel that something was wrong. Was this man usually like this? Soon. When Bei Yunj thought about how Washidu would interact with others like this, she felt an inexplicable sense of displeasure. 1 hour later, powerful literature Bei Yunj called Washidu. The man's low and magnetic voice drifted into her ears through the electric current. What's wrong, Yunyun? When are you coming back? Bei Yunj asked. These words made Washidu's thin lips curl up. He lowered his noble eyes, and the light in his eyes was inexplicably seductive. His tone was light and ostentatious. Did you miss me? Bei Yunj, didn't Auntie Meow tell you? I'm at the banquet. I might be back very late. Washidu glanced at his watch. This banquet was Old Master Hua's friend's banquet. Therefore, Washidu could not refuse. Bei Yunj, sure, this D*MN man really went to find a female companion. Seeing that Bei Yunj did not say anything, Washidu asked, can't sleep, Yunyun? The two socialites who had wanted to approach and talk to him froze when they heard the man's low and magnetic voice. Was Master Du coaxing a girl to sleep? No, it's still early. I'll sleep in a while. Bei Yunj thought about it. At Washidu's age, it was quite normal for him to have a girlfriend. With this thought in mind, Bei Yunj felt frustrated for no reason. After hanging up the phone, she walked to the fridge and took a bottle of ice water upstairs. However, after about 10 minutes, someone called her. It was Tsing-Su. What's wrong? Bei-Yunj was still working on a new program, so her tone was indifferent. Miss Pei, I'm downstairs. Master Du asked me to bring you to the banquet. Bei-Yunj's fingers paused. Doesn't he already have a date? Tsing-Su was stunned and didn't know how to reply. He could only smile and say, "You'll know when you get there." Bei-Yunj, did he still want her to play with his female companion? Although she was not too happy, Bei-Yunj still gave her face and prepared to see Huashidu's female companion. After that, when Bei-Yunj arrived at the banquet, Bei-Yunj saw a familiar figure. She also saw the tall woman standing beside him. Huashidu didn't seem to mind at all. He chatted with the woman close to him. Bei-Yunj could even see the smile on his lips. Bei-Yunj pursed her lips and quickly walked forward. However, about 2 meters away, Bei-Yunj suddenly did not want to know who the woman beside Huashidu was. Suddenly, the man's deep, magnetic, and pleasant voice sounded. Yun. Bei-Yunj looked at Huashidu and turned around. When she met the tall woman's eyes, she froze. F***ck, Huashidu, are you human? I lost a round, and you still brought your girl here to laugh at me. Yu Hanran's expression was exceptionally bad. She used her fan to cover his face and glared at him with her beautiful eyes, which had eyeshadow on. Bei-Yunj, what was wrong with the domineering CEO nowadays? Weren't you the one who pretended to be obedient in front of old Master Qi and insisted that I bring a female companion? The man beside her said calmly. Chapter 546. His little girl didn't like this kind of place either. He didn't want Bei-Yunj to come out with him for 3 to 4 hours on the day before school started. However, this child didn't seem too happy today. It seemed like it was because of his female companion. The corners of Huashidu's lips curled up unconsciously as he stared straight at Bei-Yunj. Bei-Yunj was speechless. Looking at the man's teasing gaze, she felt inexplicably guilty. Yunj, I have to explain. Your brother forced me. I lost a bet with your brother today. He insisted that I dress up as a woman and attend the banquet with him. Yu Hanran felt that his image as a domineering CEO had already collapsed. Bei-Yunj was speechless. However, speaking of which, Yu Hanran did look quite good in women's clothing. His eyes were a little similar to Yu Manran's. Awesome literature website because of his deep facial features, there was a hint of exotic charm to him. At this moment, Yu Manran even called. How is it? Good, are you at the banquet? Master Du didn't find a female companion, did he? Bei-Yunj walked to the side and chatted with Yu Manran. I did. Yu Manran was a little worried that Bei-Yunj would be heartbroken. Good, don't be too sad. Before she could comfort her, she heard Bei-Yunj say, it's your brother. Yu Manran was speechless. Your brother looks pretty good in women's clothing. Bei-Yunj couldn't help but glance at Yu Hanran again. Yu Manran's scalp suddenly turned numb. I already knew that he might be a pervert, but I didn't expect him to be so perverted. Bei-Yunj glanced at Yu Hanran thoughtfully. After chatting with Yu Manran for 10 minutes, she walked in front of Huashidu, but did not see Yu Hanran. Where is he? He went back. Huashidu curled his lips and slowly reached out. His warm fingers pinched her soft and fair earlobe intimately. This action was so ambiguous that it made her blush. I thought Yunyun was unhappy today. As soon as he finished speaking, Bei-Yunj felt the man's fingertips gently graze the soft flesh behind her earlobe. His entire body almost went limp. Bei Yunj, who had already felt that she was acting strangely today, felt even more baffled now. She avoided Huashidu's approach. A little. This answer indeed surprised Huashidu. He had seen this little girl's face when she said one thing and meant another. She was especially lovable. However, at this moment, when he heard the young lady's straightforward admission, her bright and beautiful face filled with unhappiness, he felt an inexplicable itch in his heart. Yun Yun. Bei Yunj had just raised her eyes when the man suddenly bent down. The distance between them was so close that they could feel each other's breaths. The man held her hand and leaned close to her ear. His magnetic and sexy voice was low and hoarse as he laughed. Are you here to take your brother's life? It was the first time. Bei Yunj couldn't help blushing. This man was the one who really wanted her life. Bei Yunj, who had spent quite a long time cooling down, sat on the sofa and drank fruit juice. Her heart rate had almost calmed down. Just now, she felt that her head was about to smoke. Yun Yun, it's not good to drink too much cold at night. The person who started it reminded her with concern. I'm fine now. Bei Yunj smiled at him. The man slowly curled his lips and said, I'm looking at you. Your face isn't so red anymore. Bei Yunj, no one was more insatiable than him. Chapter 547. Not far away, there were many gazes looking over. Most of them were women. Bei Yunj glanced at Huashidu and was not too surprised. This man was very good at attracting bees and butterflies outside. Shidu. Not far away, an old man suddenly walked over. He was wearing a Chinese tunic suit and looked quite energetic. Elder Qi. Huashidu stood up and walked to Elder Qi to chat. As someone who had followed Huashidu here, Bei Yunj naturally had to go up and greet him. It was more polite. This is, Elder Qi looked at such an exquisite and beautiful girl and was a little hesitant. Hello, my name is Bei Yunj. Bei Yunj nodded. At this moment, the man curled his lips. This is my girl. Elder Qi, you don't mind, right? How can I mind what you're saying? Elder Qi still liked Bei Yunj quite a lot. Besides, he didn't quite understand what Huashidu meant when he said his girl. Come. Let's drink some wine. Elder Qi's face was rosy as he led Huashidu, Bei Yunj, and the others to a quiet place with fewer people. At this moment, before Huashidu could speak, Bei Yunj's lips suddenly curled up unconsciously. Brother, you still have to listen to the elders. How could Huashidu not tell that this little girl was up to no good? His sexy Adam's apple and the mole rolled as he let out a low and hoarse laugh. His well-defined hand casually pinched her cheek. His dark, unreadable eyes stared straight at her. Sure. Bei Yunj heard the man's magnetic voice. It was seductive and ostentatious. Yun Yun, look after me later. Don't let others take advantage of me. Bei Yunj. Not long after. Bei Yunj really saw Huashidu drinking with Elder Qi and the others not far away. After about half an hour, Bei Yunj was afraid that Huashidu would do the same as last time, so she immediately went forward and pulled Huashidu back. Her bright eyes were filled with a bright smile, but there was no room for rejection. Old Mr. Qi, can I borrow Brother Shidu for a while? Elder Qi watched as the man in front of him curled his lips and let the young lady in front of him hold his hand. His expression was languid and at ease, and he could not help but laugh. This was the first time he saw Huashidu listening to someone so much. Sure, if you're tired, you can go back with Shidu first. Elder Qi was also a generous person and did not mind this. Thank you, Mr. Qi. Bei Yunj's lips curved. After Elder Qi left, she prepared to call Tsing Su. Then, the man suddenly held her hand. His warm and dry palm gently wrapped around the back of her hand. At this moment, Bae-yunj turned to look at him. "What are you doing?" The man's eyes were deep, and she couldn't tell if he was drunk or not. His fingertips carelessly brushed across Bae-yunj's palm. His peach blossom eyes, which were usually cold and aloof, were extremely alluring at this moment. His lips curved into a natural smile, and he did not let go of his hand. Big brother wants to hold hands. Bae-yunj, sure, he was very straightforward about what he wanted. It was exactly the same as the last time he was drunk. Bae-yunj felt that she could not stay any longer. She did not care that Hwashidu wanted to hold hands with her in public and simply pulled him outside. Along the way, she was on the phone with Tsing-su, and she was starting to regret encouraging this man to drink. "Assistant Tseng, have you arrived?" Chapter 548. We're here. You and Master Du can just come out. Bae-yunj replied, "All right, sorry to trouble you." "You're welcome." Assistant Tseng was a little puzzled. Wasn't Master Du drunk today? In the past, when Master Du was drunk, he didn't seem to like to talk to people. He didn't know if Miss Pei brought him over. At this moment, Bae-yunj saw that the man was holding hands and was quite obedient. She heaved a sigh of relief for no reason. If this was in public like last time, she couldn't think of any better way than to kill him to silence him. However, the night breeze outside was gentle. Other than the occasional sound of a car horn, there was only silence. Bae-yunj also felt that the warmth on her hand inexplicably made her feel a little uncomfortable. Bae-yunj collected her thoughts. She just wanted to get him into the car as soon as possible. Fortunately, she met Assistant Tseng very quickly. Assistant Tseng was also stunned when he saw Bae-yunj and Hwashidu holding hands. After Master Du finished drinking, didn't he hate it when others touched him? Soon after the two of them got into the car, Bae-yunj leaned against the car seat and closed her eyes. She started to not understand why she had come to this banquet today. After a while, Bae-yunj turned around and saw the man's side profile. His eyes were slightly red and his gaze was lazy and seductive. It seemed that the last time this man didn't remember anything after he woke up from his drunken stupor. Bae-yunj suddenly called out, "Brother." "Yes." The man's eyes were extremely dark. Even the light was hidden. His magnetic voice rose and fell with his faint breath. "Do you mind if I do something I shouldn't do?" Bae-yunj asked with curved eyes. Hearing this, the man only turned his head. He leaned lazily and raised his eyebrows slightly. His eyes were dark and he looked light and ostentatious. It was so lust that made one's legs go weak. His gaze was clearly saying, "If you want it, come and get it." However, Bae-yunj didn't notice the aggressiveness in the man's eyes. She couldn't resist the temptation and wanted to reach out to the man's abdomen. Who would have thought? Suddenly, the man grabbed her wrist. Bae-yunj, that was good. He still had his self-awareness. However, Bae-yunj saw that Hwashidu refused to let go. "Brother." She looked up and accidentally met the man's dark eyes. She felt as if she had been scalded and immediately turned her face away. But shortly after, however, she heard the man's low and hoarse laughter. His voice was long and lazy, sounding a little cynical. "Kid, have you taken a liking to me?" The atmosphere in the car was quiet and private. There was a partition in front of them, and there were only the two of them around. Bae-yunj felt that this D*MN man had really gone overboard. She didn't really want to talk to drunkards. But a few minutes later, Bae-yunj's reasonable voice rang out. "Brother, you haven't given me my birthday present yet." The man looked at her for a while. His low and lazy voice was irresistibly sexy. Little liar. Bae-yunj had a vague feeling that the previous matter was about to be exposed by a drunkard. She turned her face away and didn't speak. The man seemed to have noticed that Bae-yunj was ignoring him. He laughed softly again and his breath was a little close. It was as if he was blatantly seducing her. Do you want a present so much? Bae-yunj's surroundings were invaded by the pleasant and cold smell of alcohol on his body. It made people's hearts flutter. Chapter 549. The moment she looked up, she saw that the man's eyes were half dark and half dark. He was extremely lustful. However, the man's slender and well-defined hand casually held her fingertips. The corners of his lips curled up imperceptibly. Then I'll give it to you. Before Bae-yunj could react, her hand was placed on the man's firm waist. At this moment, Bae-yunj, who was not prepared, froze. She had to admit that she could see Hwashidu working out in the morning every day. The firm muscles on his waist and abdomen were very different from his refined and elegant appearance when he was wearing clothes. Separated by a thin layer of clothing, Bae-yunj's heart raced. The man was half bent over her, and the distance between them was a little too close. She could hear his low and bewitching laughter, and it made her ears burn. Is it enough, Yunyun? Bae-yunj, why did this man feel like he was not human no matter what he said? He was too lustful. Awesome literature website. However, in the next moment, before Bae-yunj could react, the man's seductive low voice sprayed on her neck along with his warm breath, causing her heart to tremble. Not enough. Then, Hwashidu's cold fingers held Bae-yunj's hand and moved it down. Bae-yunj felt that she had touched a metal belt buckle. Before she could react, she heard Hwashidu chuckle softly. He exuded a lustful and light aura. His eyes were dark and seductive, and his tone was ambiguous and deadly, making her legs go weak. Then this is your gift. Do you want to open it? Bae-yunj quickly retracted her hand and almost exploded again. Her ears were unbelievably red. However, at this moment, the man looked at the young lady's angry expression and chuckled happily. Bae-yunj reacted, but Hwashidu rubbed her head again. This D***MN man did it on purpose. The next day. As expected, Bae-yunj went downstairs and saw the man sitting on the sofa reading the newspaper. Bae-yunj, sure, this D***MN man had forgotten again. Yunyun. Hwashidu felt Bae-yunj's gaze, but the memories of yesterday were a little fragmented. Why are you looking at me like that? I'm fine. Every time this man did something when he was drunk, it was hard to talk about it. If she did not know Hwashidu's personality, she would have suspected that Hwashidu had lied to her twice. After breakfast, Bae-yunj remembered what happened last night very clearly, so she simply went out without saying anything to Hwashidu. Hwashidu also noticed that this little girl's attitude towards him seemed to be the same as the last time he was drunk. Half a month passed just like that. Hingda's final exams had already ended. At this moment, Bae-yunj finally realized that Teacher Won had a motive for sending her to the special class. This special class didn't have long holidays. Bae-yunj did not have much patience at first and continued to attend this special class. However, Songyao brought different pastries over every day, so she came every day. When she was studying, Chin-yu called. I have a reality variety show that I can invite family members to participate in. Are you free? When Chin-yu asked, his palms were covered in sweat. He had thought about it for 2 weeks before he mustered up the courage to ask. No. Bae-yunj rejected him very straightforwardly. Is that so? All right then. Chin-yu's eyes darkened and the corners of his lips curled up. How have you been recently? Chapter 550. Ever since Gu-er stayed with Hoshidu, it was very difficult for him to see Gu-er. Even if he took the initiative to invite her, Gu had never agreed to it. Only the old master was useful to Gu-er. I'm fine. Is there anything else? I'm in class. Bei Yunji's tone was calm. It was neither distant nor close, just like when they first met. No, take good care of yourself. Okay. After hanging up, Song Yao, who was beside her, asked, "Who was it?" Bei Yunj did not answer. He only glanced at her questions and pointed at one of her questions with a pen. Recalculate. Song Yao was speechless. She did not know why, but her deskmate had never attended a class before and knew that she was wrong just by looking at the question. Unfortunately, the teacher in class did not like Bei Yunj. He felt that Bei Yunj was here to play and relied on connections. At night, Bei Yunj entered another strange dream. It was a press conference. A woman was pulling a little girl and accusing Qin Yu of having a fetish for children and molesting girls. Qin Yu did not look well and his eyes were lifeless. However, she did not expect a situation to occur at the scene. A fan who had turned anti-fan splashed the sulfuric acid he brought forward indiscriminately. A girl who looked like her instinctively wanted to block it for Qin Yu. However, Qin Yu was even faster and shielded her behind him. The scene was filled with wails and howls, but most of them were watching coldly from the sidelines, looking at the injured Qin Yu mockingly. Qin Yu's back was almost covered in bones. His originally handsome and arrogant side profile was even more mangled. Bei Yunj saw that the girl Qin Yu was protecting was crying. Qin Yu leaned towards her ear and seemed to have said something. In the end, he forced himself to watch the girl leave before he fainted. She woke up. Bei Yunj felt that the corners of her eyes were a little wet and she touched them. They were tears. She did not know if she was crying or if the original protagonist was crying. The dream last night was very real. She could even feel the original protagonist's emotions. A voice filled her mind and she kept asking, "Please, someone help me." Bei Yunj suddenly remembered that when she had just woken up from the mental hospital, she had also heard this voice. This was most likely because the original owner's obsession was too deep, so she was able to be reborn into her body. "Next time, let me have a good sleep." Bei Yunj seemed to be talking to himself, but also seemed to be talking to someone. With a light tap of her fingers, she sent Qin Yu a message. "Gu-er, when is the variety show? I'm not recording at night. Anything else is fine." After sending it, Bei Yunj glanced at Qin Yu's reply and called Song Yao. "Gu-er, what is it?" Bei Yunj slowly unbuttoned her pajamas with one hand, revealing her fair skin. "I have something to do in 2 days. Can you help me apply for leave from Professor Wei?" "Sure, but Professor Wei is probably going to cause trouble for you." "Anything is fine. Thanks." Bei Yunj smirked lazily. In the dream, the little girl Qin Yu saw was hired by this production team for Qin Yu. Since this was the person the original owner wanted to protect, she could not let this happen again. After she was done with the trivial matters. 2 days later, Bei Yunj was picked up by Qin Yu. At the airport. Before Bei Yunj got out of the car, she could feel the enthusiasm of Qin Yu's fans. Bei Yunj put on her mask and lowered her cap. After Qin Yu walked down, the fans saw him turn around and come out with a good-looking girl. Chapter 551. The fans present could not help but scream excitedly. "Who is this girl? F***CK, it's his sister." When the other fans heard this, they immediately knew Bei Yunj's identity and became even more excited. Pei, sister-in-law. Sister-in-law is here." Bae-yeon had never seen such a scene and looked over instinctively. Then, she realized that something was wrong. Bae-yeon was speechless. In the eyes of the fans, this scene was simply adorable. Suddenly, Chin-yu pulled her over and pulled down his mask slightly. His low voice sounded casually. "Don't bully me. Hubby, why did you bring your sister here?" The girl who picked him up asked very naturally. Chin-yu glanced at her lazily and chuckled. "Miss, I brought my sister here to record a show." Seeing that Chin-yu was still not falling for it like before, the other fans were not discouraged. Instead, they continued to set the trap. On the way, Bae-yeon did not say a word. After registering, she entered the cabin. On this day, the headlines were all over the charts. Hashtag Chin-yu sister hashtag Chin-yu's family looks hashtag Chin-yu and they are traveling hashtag They Are Traveling was a live-streaming variety show for celebrities and their younger siblings. It could be said that it was a mess at the moment, so the director had asked for a favor to invite Chin-yu. Because when Chin-yu left home to develop, the director of They Are Traveling had helped Chin-yu a lot, so Chin-yu could not refuse. When they arrived at the venue booked by the production team, Bae-yeon and Chin-yu did not expect to bump into Yoon Nuo and Chin Yo-jiao here. Come. Let's take a short video before the recording. With that said, the director pushed Chin-yu and Bae-yeon in first. Bae-yeon frowned unconsciously, but did not say anything. She only took off her mask and hat. At this moment, the production team, who saw Bae-yeon's face through the camera, froze. Brother Yu's younger sister was too beautiful. She wasn't even considering debuting. The staff member immediately picked up Bae-yeon's personal information. After memorizing some important information, he smiled and asked, "Miss Pei, are you interested in this show?" Bae-yeon allowed the female staff to adjust the earpiece. She slowly looked up and asked, "You want me to tell the truth?" The production team, beside her, Chin-yu was speechless. His gu did not seem to be suitable for variety shows. Meanwhile, everyone in the program team was thinking that another F***king troublemaker had appeared. Then, let's say something to each other. The director tried to liven up the atmosphere. Hearing this, Chin-yu was the first to take the initiative to look at Bae-yeon. He had the face of a teenage killer, arrogant and handsome. He looked at Bae-yeon and smiled. "I'll take good care of you during this trip." Although there weren't any pleasant words, they were very true. The director nodded and pointed the camera at Bae-yeon. Unexpectedly, Bae-yeon was silent for a moment. "Okay." As soon as he finished speaking, the smiles on the production team's faces disappeared. Okay. They couldn't take it anymore. However, hearing this, Chin-yu chuckled unconsciously. His dark eyes seemed to be glowing as he stared at Bae-yeon without blinking. He didn't care about anything else. It was already very good that he could be alone with Goob this time. However, later on, the director saw that the other groups were doing quite well and heaved a sigh of relief. He edited the film and posted it online for voting and publicity. However, what he did not expect was, Chin-yu and his sister's team was the first in history. Chapter 552. Did the audience already look at faces to this extent? The funny and emotional people next door couldn't compare to this pair of plastic siblings. However, the production team was also knowledgeable. "Go high and go low, go high and go low," the assistant director said. It was probably because the interaction between Bae-yeon and the sister-in-law fans at the airport was too loving. Therefore, the viewership ratings of this program depended on them at the beginning. However, as for the later part, everyone was more dependent on character. Yoon Noa's expression was dark and her tone was a little bad. You actually brought her to participate in a variety show. Isn't he afraid of embarrassing himself? Qin Yojiao's expression did not look too good either. The purpose of her and Yun Nuo coming here this time was actually to give her a chance to interact with Qin Yu. Really? Then Qin Yojiao looked at her and smiled. There are 2 spots in the International Musicians Association. One is me and the other is an old gentleman. Hearing this, Yun Nuo laughed even more. However, she never thought that Qin Yu would bring Bei Yunj. She has always liked to follow me no matter what I do. Qin Yojiao's tone was mocking. I saw her go during the International Musicians Association selection. Yun Nuo laughed coldly. Yojiao, she got herself into trouble this time. What are you afraid of? She felt that this was a chance to completely ruin Bei Yunj's reputation. Back then, Bei Yunj had also let Jiao Jiao be defamed like this. I knew it. Even if she imitates you, she can't be much better than you. Qin Yojiao's eyes darkened. But this time, her target should be second brother. Second brother has only met her once before. I'm really curious why second brother would treat her like that. The next day. After the official start, Bei Yunj met the other 4 teams. Hearing this, the corners of Qin Yojiao's lips gradually curled up. Yes. Wasn't it easy for Bei Yunj to be disliked? Oh my god, the guests of this season are super good looking. Goddess Yun Nuo and Qin Yojiao are both talented goddesses. Brother Yu, I'm here to see my sister. In the 5th team, there were 2 pairs of siblings, a pair of brothers, a pair of siblings, and a pair of sisters. However, only Yun Nuo's group was not related by blood. Seeing that the 5 groups of people were exceptionally good-looking, the viewers in the live broadcast room had already started to flood the screen. Most of the comments in the live stream were Qin Yu's fans or people who knew about this program because of Qin Yu. As for the other artistes, other than Promise Yun, who was an A-list artiste and was quite popular, they were all B-list and below. Oh my god, Brother Yu's sister is too beautiful. Sister, elope with sister-in-law. Whoa, why are you even more handsome than your brother? Huadun and his younger brother are so pretty. The film crew, the other guests, if this program was going to be a sister con competition, then they would definitely lose. It had just started and before the production team could speak, everyone saw Qin Yu covering the sun with his hand for Bei Yunj. Seeing that it didn't work, he walked to the side, took off his manager's hat, and put it on Bei Yunj's head. The manager. On the other hand, the fans on the bullet screen were laughing. Director, let's change to a cooler place next time. My sister's skin is fair. Qin Yu said with a frown. There was no point in participating in this variety show. Best actor Qin dotes on his sister. I announce that the first place belongs to Qin Yu. The broadcast hasn't even started and Brother Yu has already shown off how he dotes on his sister. You're tuning in to the LoveLore Library YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.